Welcome to the Indie Corner After Dark, where we're not only talking about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Seamus.
And today, people, we're back at it again with another episode of Indie Corner After Dark, episode number 49. James, we're almost at 50. Can you believe
Damn.
it? Almost at 50.
Damn. I didn't even know. I must have started. I think I started at like episode 10 or something. When I started coming on.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It was early. I can't believe we've done that many over the past couple of years. It's been so long.
I know.
What are we gonna do for 50? Are we doing a thing, or are we just? Is it just gonna be like?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't thought about it, but you know,
I think it should. Yeah, I think I should pick. I should get to pick the next topic for the next.
Why are you self-appointing with like I'm gonna pick the thing?
I should. Yeah, I've been here for 40 episodes. I put in the work.
I'm crying. But yeah, people. So we're back at it again with episode 49. We got a twofer. We got a twofer for you. We're doing a double review. As you can see from the thumbnails, we're going to be covering be doing our review for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And along with the Marvel presentation that came out literally yesterday, Punisher One Last Kill. I thought Seamus and we thought it was a good idea to just do them both together because they both pretty much correlate with each other in one way, shape, or form. So yeah, I'm excited, bro. Because listen, man, I always say this every time we do a pod at Daredevil, but we love Daredevil up in here. We're Daredevil stans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that conversation, and and Punisher too. We'll get into it. But just first things foremost, people, as always, if you are currently subscribed to us, thank you, we appreciate you. But if you're new to us, please like and subscribe. Share the video around to your friends, family, even your neighbor that you hate. He loves he must love Daredevil or Punisher. Send it to him. And yeah, all right, bro. So we'll get right into it. So obviously, we're gonna do Punisher first because the Punisher is gonna be pretty quick, only 44 minutes long. So it shouldn't be too much. But yeah. So Punisher One Last Kill. Put that on the screen right quick. So yeah, bro. So Punisher One Last Kill. This is the Marvel presentation. So only one episode. Kind of acting as kind of basically like a one shot, pretty much how they used to do Marvel one shots, back in the day, but just a little longer. The last presentations we got were like the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and I believe the Werewolf by Night one. Was it what Werewolf by Night was as well?
Werewolf by Night was the first one. Werewolf by Night was the first one, and then the Guardians Holiday Special, and then it's this because they've only done 3 over the last 4 years or something.
Yeah, for sure. Not to get confused with Marvel Spotlight. Marvel Spotlight are just limited one and done series that they do. Yeah. So now the Punisher, and I loved Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So I've had no complaints with the presentation so far. But yeah. But One Last Kill. So this is obviously focused on the Punisher, pretty much chronologically, right after I would assume Born Again. In the events of Born Again Season 2, because for people that don't know who haven't watched Born Again Season 1, at the end, Frank Castle, after being taken in by the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, ended up escaping. This is pretty much where is Frank now after the events of Season 1, and chronologically after the events of Born Again Season 2. This is also co-written by John Bernthal. So John Bernthal has a hand in the script. And I was able to assume he co-produced this as well. So Seamus, man, just so off rip, just because this thing just came out yesterday, so we don't want to give spoilers right away. But just give me your overall thoughts. What are your overall thoughts of One Last Kill? What do you think without spoiling?
So I think that it's one of the more ambitious Marvel projects I've ever seen them do. And I think it has a lot of issues and a lot of stuff that is a little rough around the edges. But I think what it's attempting to try to do and the way that it does it is so interesting that I don't really the negatives don't really affect the specials for me. I think that the way it tries to characterize Frank and the way it tries to be a bridge between Born Again and Spider-Man is very interesting, and it's not really trying to reinvent the wheel with Frank, but it definitely is trying to portray the issues that he more regularly goes through, when you normally see a Punisher project, in a way that I think is more interesting, in a little more artistically, you know what I mean, a little more artistically inclined than like the normal Punisher type story. You know what I mean? With some of the stuff they're doing with his like visions and stuff like that, I think was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that this special works in a vacuum where you just try to put. Don't think about the Netflix show. Don't really think about his appearance in Born Again. If you watch this as like a standalone Punisher thing, I think it will totally be more impactful and entertaining. Because as soon as you start trying to think about where it fits in and all this other stuff, it kind of doesn't really work. And if you think about his arc in the Netflix show, this kind of feels like a retread of that. And you're like, well, what are we doing here if we're just retreading Frank? But I think if you watch it in a vacuum and you just watch it as like standalone, I'm reading like a single issue of Punisher Max.
Yeah.
It's perfect. You know what I mean? Because in that sense, it really nails everything that you'd want from a Punisher comic, and that's why I think it succeeds where it was trying to succeed and where it wanted to succeed, and where it fails, you're kind of a little more forgiving because you're like, okay, they're trying to do something a little more ambitious, and to that I have a lot of more respect for them than something that's trying to do something easier and maybe do it good. You know what I mean? Then you're kind of I hate that more. You know what I mean? Like a like Fantastic Four. It was trying to do something not that interesting and like ended up being like pretty good, and I'm like, kind of forget that. But like Punisher One Last Kill, I'm gonna be like, damn, that special was really fucking good. You know what I mean? Even though the writing's there's that one CGI shot that's like really fucking weird. The audio mixing,
but like it's only like you can blink and you miss it. Like it's not.
It is weird though, because it is a Disney Plus production that you'd be like, damn guys, you really couldn't have given them a little more money for the shit. You know what I mean? The audio mixing's off. Like I said, the writing can sometimes be a little cyclical with the way that we're mulching over the same shit with Frank. But it's every Punisher run. I feel like you could boil that down to of him, constantly trapped in a loop and a cycle. But this specific special doesn't really try to do anything to differentiate any kind of progress he's made or differentiate any kind of, you know what I mean? You could slot this in and say it's the pilot episode of the Netflix show, and it would be like the same thing where you'd be like, yeah, I see that, because his arc isn't gone anywhere yet. But and some of the thematic implications of where he goes, which we'll get into with the spoilers. I'm a little like, but I think overall it's worth your time. It's entertaining. It's only 44 minutes, and it's like nonstop action the whole time. So like, I would totally recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of pick back off what you said. Like, I agree. I went into it like thinking like, it's like it's like a Punisher Max one shot. Like you can pretty much think of it as more of a self-contained. It pretty much is self-contained for the most part, because it doesn't really reference anything from Born Again or lead in, or sneak in anything to tease like Spider-Man, his role in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I thought was completely fine. This is just where Frank is now, currently in the MCU. I thought, like I told you in the chat when yesterday while we're in Snapchat, I was like, I have two words for this freaking thing: closure and carnage. But it's closure in terms of like, in terms of like where Frank is right now. Like, this is pretty much like the plot wise, it was him kind of coming to terms with what he's been through while dealing with the ghosts of his past and the continued trauma that he suffered from watching the death of his family, which again is familiar. Like it's in terms of plot, not really that like new or fresh. Especially if you read comics like we do, like we see this from Frank all the time. but when it comes to how they portrayed that portrayed that plot thematically in terms of some of the cinematic choices, some of the the way his PTSD and his anxiety and his his trauma and his depression are physically are personified through some characters that show up in this thing. I thought that was really interesting. I thought the antagonist of this, even though it's very brief, of course, I thought was really interesting, and honestly had kind of felt like a reflection of Frank due to a shared situation that they've both gone through, which we'll talk about in spoilers. But definitely like it's a bit of a build up. Like it's the setting up of like this is where Frank is now, this is what he's dealing with, and then kind of like all of that kind of like culminating to like pretty much like everything just going, blowing up and shit hitting the fan, and that's where all the carnage and the chaos and the action starts. This shit felt like it goes from like character study to like the raid, like 20 minutes in, and it was awesome. Like it was awesome. I thought this again very ambitious in terms of like the choreography and stuff like that, and obviously this is TVMA, so we're seeing people get got good. So very good choreography, and we saw some Max Payne moments, we saw some John Wick moments, we saw some raid moments. I thought it was really well done. And like this did feel, especially with John Bernthal writing, this felt kind of like a more personal Frank story, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. And it sucks because I kind of wanted more. I know we were saying in the off camera, but I was like, they could have cranked out 4 episodes. Just do 4 mini one shots of Punisher Max, pretty much. Like each episode just a different story that Frank is doing. I thought that would have been dope. But it is what it is. But I think I did tell you though, this was reminding me. This reminded me a lot of like Punisher Dirty Laundry from Adi Shankar's bootleg universe from back in the day, but like way better, like 10 times better, and that shit was good. So it was giving me like Dirty Laundry vibes, which I liked a lot. We'll just go into spoilers, man. I kind of want to talk about some other stuff. But yeah, people. So yeah, if you haven't already, please go watch this special on Disney Plus, wherever you want to watch your Marvel presentations, and then come back and you can hear more of our thoughts in detail. All right, so we're gonna go to spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. All right, so yeah, now we are in spoilers. Just like real quick, dropping a food bomb, make sure spoiler territory. Sick. All right. So, spoilers, bro. So I want to talk about real quick, the Nucci, the Amon Nucci and the Nucci family is assassination that Frank committed. Crazy. I thought that was dope. I mean, that felt like classic Punisher Max, bro. I was like, I love that.
I was gonna say it feels so the assassination is indicative of what I was talking about earlier with the thematics of the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate John Bernthal taking a big swing with trying to write this thing, co-writing it. I don't think either writer is really equipped to handle the Punisher.
Yeah.
And this is also true of, I think, a good number of comic writers too. I just think that if you're going to be handling the Punisher, you got to be really equipped to be able to write a story from the point of view of a villain, of someone who is mentally unwell, of someone who is, a tragic figure who is still doing wrong. You know what I mean? And I think that their attempts to humanize Frank wade a little too far into justification rather than any kind of explanation or understanding. Because the arc of this special is kind of not really Frank changing his ways, but more changing his mindset in a way where, he no longer is going to brutally slaughter people in the streets for revenge, but he's doing it now to keep people safe.
Yeah.
And I not that I necessarily think that arc is a bad one. I just think that when that kind of ending is portrayed as like, no, he's good now, and it's like, you know what I mean, and it felt a little like you were like, no, like him killing guys because he thinks it's good is like, it's because the Punisher's always been a criticism of like the right-wing fantasy of that a good guy with a gun will always stop a bad guy with a gun.
Yeah.
And the point of the Punisher is to say that anyone who has a gun is 9 times out of 10 going to be severely mentally unwell with that, and probably shouldn't have the gun in the first place. You know, and I think
the Punisher's a cautionary tale, straight up.
And this special veers a little too far into idolizing Frank, because they try to do like no, he's mentally unwell, no, he's crazy, with that scene at the beginning where he's about to kill himself in the cemetery, and I am like, okay, that's cool, but like by the end, like I said, he literally is the good guy with the gun who kills that gangster. Like this shot right here is from the very end, where he is getting revenge on a gangster who like killed a puppy by like shooting him in the street and like cutting him in half. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like that, and it's portrayed in a way where it's not like gross. You're like, I feel like during that kind of thing, you're supposed to feel a little gross and a little like, but in that, at the end, it's portrayed like almost entirely triumphantly, like in the same way of like Spider-Man, like, you know what I mean, saving the day and kissing Mary Jane. It's like, this is the same, and you're like, I don't, you can tell, like you can smell it, that they aren't doing this in a tongue-in-cheek way. They're doing this as like fully like no guys, he figured it out. He's no longer mentally unwell. He's killing people for the right reasons. And you're like, hey, shouldn't the moral of the story be that this shouldn't be happening at all? Not that, oh guys, don't worry. Even though he's doing the same action, in his head, he's thinking differently, so it's okay.
And that's my thing with the Punisher, which always makes me like very iffy on the character. Like, I'm not a Punisher fan because I always think this way when it comes to Frank, and that's my biggest issue when it comes to like people that write him. It is very easy for people to glorify him, glorify him through humanizing him. Not saying you can't humanize the character, but like to make him seem like an idealistic figure. Like this is what being a hero is supposed to be like. Blah blah blah. No, the Punisher's a fucking problem. He is a mentally ill psychopath that thinks being judge, jury, and executioner is justified and okay because of his family's death, which is insane thinking.
And that's why Jason Aaron's back half of Punisher Max is so good, because when he introduces the idea that my favorite part of that fucking run, and by the way, when I got to Aaron's run for a split second, I was like, oh, I don't know, because Aaron starts introducing Kingpin, and you're like, I don't know, but then the back half, I was like, fuck, wait, this guy has it. My favorite part of that is when Aaron does the reveal that like Frank kind of was like Frank was a dick to his family, and his wife was gonna divorce him before he went off to like war.
Yeah, I remember that.
I love that. I love that Frank is doing this in, like he's not even doing this for his family who loved him. He's using his family as an excuse to do all this shit. I love that. That's exactly what the Punisher should be.
It's an excuse for him to go into It's an excuse for him to be enlisted into another war, but a war that he can control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you're like, that's perfect, and that's why Punisher Max is great, and it's why this doesn't work in any kind of thematic or story sense. It's why it's like, hey, this is cool if you just turn your brain off, but if you think about it for more than a second, it instantly becomes like really messed up and really like, oh, that was kind of lazy. And all the Bernthal interviews where he's like, the Punisher's for the police, the Punisher's for the veterans. You're like,
did he say that?
You're like, yeah. Oh, he says that every time the Punisher comes up. And you're like, yeah, he's for them, but like he's not for them in the way that you think he's for them, dog. Like he's for them in a way that they go, wow, I see that guy and I think I need to go get help. Not in the same way of like, that guy's my guy. You see him and you go, damn.
Like in this scene, right? Like in this scene, especially at the end, where he helps the homeless veteran, get vengeance for his dog's death and all that, his dog being killed, all that stuff. I would have preferred it where it's like, instead of, you know, the guy kind of like signaling him to do it, as in like, you know, do the right thing. And instead I would have loved if the guy looked at him and like closed his eyes and winced, because to portray Frank as an avenging angel, but like kind of like an angel of death that everyone's just comfortable with, just because it's like, you know, it's because it's like, you know,
that would be so much more interesting.
It's more justifiable.
If the dude was like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's taking out the bad guys. People are more comfortable
dude,
with bad guys being taken out, without bad guys being taken out, even though deep down they know it's wrong and they know he's not okay. Like,
oh, you know? Dude, it would have been so much more interesting if the homeless dude just Frank like
closed his eyes a little bit. You know?
If I was gonna say, if not even wince, if Frank whacked him, the dude was on the ground and Frank turns to him, to the homeless dude, to get his approval to kill the guy, and the homeless dude doesn't do anything, but he just closes his eyes and turns around.
Yeah,
I would have been like, fuck. That would have been so much more interesting, because
like,
then you portray Frank as like, because then it still portrays Frank as a problem, but it just portrays Frank more as a symptom of society's society becoming more numb to that kind of violence and more inclined nowadays to turn a blind eye to that.
I'm gonna add on to this, right? Did you ever read Maniac of New York?
Yeah.
It's like that, where it's like, I would love if they treated Punisher like in that way, where he's a force of nature that people are just numb to, just simply because he's taking out criminals. Because it's more of that, like, not really apathy, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like because he's simply taking out the quote unquote the bad guys, and people are just comfortable and just used to the fact that he's just out there doing these things. Like, I would have loved that to be portrayed more here. However, I will say this: even though, well, like I said, like the plot is pretty much familiar. You know, Frank having a mental breakdown, Frank going, you know, being on the brink of suicide. But yet, I did like the fact that it was his daughter's ghost that specifically had more of an impact on him, because, you know, obviously, I mean, I'm not a father, but, you know, having a daughter is like, you know, that's your baby girl.
Frank don't give a fuck about his son.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I don't know, a little wild, but, you know, that's your baby girl, that's your princess. The fact that, like, her ghost had more of an impact of him kind of having that, like, shift in mindset, when obviously, like, that having that also that mutual connection with that little girl, in the who's the daughter of like the bodega shop owners, that I thought was very interesting. Yeah, but it was like not his wife, not his son, his daughter. It's like, yeah, but like, you know, you're just like, fuck your wife and son, but like, it's only your daughter.
Fuck his son. It don't matter.
But yeah.
Yeah,
like, let's be real, bro. Like, if we ever get into Marvel Comics and write some shit and the Punisher's in it, we're not gonna treat the Punisher like he's a good
I think
guy.
we could do the Punisher justice by making him like a crazy psycho that like is roaming the streets that everyone should be scared of. But everyone should also, because the Punisher is supposed to be a villain, a tragic villain. He's supposed to be a villain that you're also like, damn, it's really sad that we got to this point that dude exists. Like, that sucks. You know what I mean? And like maybe in another life, Frank could have been a hero, but in this life, he's not. He's fucked. You know, and that's what you're like, damn. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm saying, and it gets me a little like, okay, if this is what you're planning on doing with the Punisher, how is that going to fit into Spider-Man Brand New Day, where Spider-Man is literally supposed to be the best of everybody? And like,
he's gonna be a hero, and Spider-Man's just gonna like finger wag at him and be like, "Oh, Frank, don't you go killing again," and that's it. And we're gonna be like, "Yeah, this sucks.
It sucks." Like that's why I'm saying it shouldn't be there. Like, it's just the mentor figure should be Daredevil. But you know,
I was gonna say, I have storyline wise, I do have my issues with it, but I was gonna say, I think to like surmise my feelings about this. The story definitely is an issue, but I think if you go into this and you just go, okay, I'm treating this as a Punisher pilot, nothing else exists outside of it that I've seen yet, you're gonna love it, because you're gonna be like, the action's sick, where they set up Frank, where he might go, is interesting.
I love the ghost. I love him being haunted by the ghosts of his past. I love that.
And the ghost of his unit, the ghost of his family. like all these different ghosts pushing him to do all this different shit.
And then that random ghost that kind of confirmed that like he's attracted to Karen.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All that shit was the most interesting part of the special for me, at least character and storyline wise. And the actions, like I said, the action's great. I can't, like we already said, it's like the Raid. It looks great. That's shit you got to see for yourself. You got to watch it yourself,
dude.
But like overall, I'd say I would recommend this. I would definitely tell people to watch it. It's 44 minutes. It's not going to take up too much time. Go watch it. You know.
Yeah. Shout out to what's his name? Jason R. Moore, who plays who plays Hoyle, who was one of who was a part of Frank's unit because he died in season 2 or season 1 of Punisher. I really liked this character a lot, actually. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this. Also, real quick, just to clarify, because I think I asked you this in chat, but you didn't answer me. Was Barry, who was Manucci's like bodyguard and stuff, was that supposed to be Barracuda, like in Punisher Max?
Yeah, but no. He's Barracuda in the same way that you know, they do this in every Marvel project where they just give a random side character a comic name to be like, look guys, it's from the comics, and you're like, okay, but he doesn't look like the guy from the comics, nor does he do anything that the guy from the comics would do. So therefore, he's not the character. You're just naming him that. You know what I mean? So, like, yes, I'm like 90% sure he's supposed to be Barracuda, but that's not Barracuda.
Yeah.
You're just telling me that's Barracuda.
Yeah.
So,
and also shout out to Andre Royo, who played the bodega owner. You know, Bubbles from The Wire. I love that actor. He's fantastic.
I was seeing him show up.
Yeah. It's nice to see him in there. Question before we move on: do you think we'll ever see the whole Manucci thing? You know,
no,
ever again? No. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do it, honestly. But like, again, I like this a lot. So like, I want to see like they could do like another presentation or two that's like, you know, Punisher Max style, like this adventure, like this storyline.
I would love to see
do Slavers for an episode, bro.
I would love to see everyone who worked on this work on a Punisher show, but please get different writers in. Please get different writers in who can do this. Just get Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis isn't, you know what I mean? Just ask him to do it.
Yeah, I think he'd be the best one capable. Him or Jason Aaron.
Yeah, just get Garth Ennis and Jason Aaron, and just literally put out a 10-episode mini-series and just call it Punisher Max, and just literally do single episode Punisher stories about the Punisher being Punisher, and that's it.
All self-contained. I would love that.
All self-contained, and like you have Barracuda show up in 3 of them, and then the final episode is like him versus Barracuda on the fucking boat. You know what I mean? And that's it. And it's just a brutal show that you just like go like, fuck, man.
You know who I was surprised we didn't see make an appearance? At least as a ghost. I don't remember if they were a ghost, if they were killed or not. But like Jigsaw, I'm surprised we didn't see him at all.
I'm good. I don't think they needed to throw a Jigsaw in. This thing's already short and to the point, and we're already getting a bad Barracuda adaptation. I don't think I also need Jigsaw in there for like 2 seconds just for me to go like, okay.
No, this is a blip. Oh, just like a little blip. Like,
I was gonna say, and I think they want this to kind of be far more standalone than like even Born Again is in terms of its relation to the original series. You know? They do want this to just kind of be like throw it on and watch it on your own. Like this isn't like, you know.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I'd recommend it. I'd say it's a solid, quick, easy, fun watch. If you're expecting any very deep stuff, storyline wise, forget about it.
Yeah.
Just go in and be like, I'm gonna watch a cool episode of the Punisher TV show, and just do that. The whole thing's like a Daredevil hallway fight. Just
yeah, honestly, like it's 20 minutes of just like build up, like plot stuff, and then like just like 20 more minutes of just like just straight nonstop action. It was great. Yeah. I enjoyed this a lot. Granted, it does have its issues, I will agree, but I think for me, like in terms of outside of like, you know, the discussion that we just had breaking it down, that bothers me because I don't like the Punisher portrayed that way. But you know, it is what it is. I thought the storyline was solid, but in terms of like the way they did it, portray everything thematically, the action, all that stuff, I thought that made it a lot more fun. Again, turn your brain off. Think of it as a Punisher Max one shot. and I would like to see more of these in the future. Like your idea of doing like a little limited series, like to have each episode be standalone, like Punisher stories. I would love that. Call it Punisher War Journal, deadass. Like
Punisher War Journal, Punisher Max, Punisher fucking kills a bunch of dudes. Call it whatever you want, as long as I get
exactly.
Like, written by Garth Ennis.
And I'm not gonna lie, I do like this new Punisher skull. I do like it. I think it's a cool skull.
It's fine. They fucking blue balled me with the trench coat look, and I hate that they did that to me. So,
oh, really?
I'm mad.
I knew they were gonna. I knew they were gonna. I kind of like the non-trench coat look, actually.
All right, fuck you. Let's move on. Fuck you. Let's move on.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's move on to now Daredevil Born Again, season 2. Yeah, but so yeah, man, Daredevil Born Again season 2. Please, people who haven't checked it out, I'll put it in the top right corner of the screen. Check out our review from season 1 that we did last year. A lot of fun, good discussion. I think for the most part we thought it was good, but like it wasn't like amazing due to the effects of like the production switch up, like the conflict, stuff like that, but all that stuff. I think we said it was like we thought it was good, but like not the best Daredevil thing. Like I think we said it was better than season 2, which I think is fair.
Yeah, it was better than season 2. It was definitely worse than season 1 and 3. Definitely rough, but we did say like the last 2 or 3 episodes were really good because that was made by this gang. And we were like, oh, if season 2 is like that, then season 2 is going to be incredible. And guess what, Mikey?
We watched season 2. We watched season 2. I mean, listen, I always forget that we have soundboards and stuff, but like I will. Which one am I use? This is the best way I can describe season. It's not cut the check. That would be easy, but like I think this is how I describe season 2 for Born Again.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking balls, nigga. You know nothing about that.
It was Born Again season 2. Again, we'll just go into our overall thoughts.
If you near any type of cash convenience store, go put your hand in the register.
Dead ass. That's how it was. Shout out to DJ Flex, bro. Shout out to DJ Flex. But
DJ Flex.
Overall thoughts, the non-spoiler review. This season, again, was like every time I watched an episode, I was like, yo, we're fucking back. Like,
yeah,
it was great. It felt a lot more like the Netflix shows, maybe even some moments slightly better. I mean, like I really loved this season. It was fantastic. We were just talking before we started. For me, Daredevil season 3 of the Netflix show is peak Daredevil for me. And then and obviously but then I always put season 1 underneath that, and then underneath that season 2, and then Born Again is like above season 2. So my ranking would if we're gonna do a tier list, it would be Daredevil season 3, Daredevil season 1, Born Again season 1, and then last would be season 2 of Daredevil. For now, with this show out, I'm gonna put it in between Born Again season 3 and then season 1. It's number 2 now in terms of the Daredevil tier list for me personally. I thought this was so good, especially we're gonna talk about some of the moments and stuff like that, and some with some of the characters. It passed season 1 for me personally. It almost reached season 3, except for there was a few things I was like, I don't know about that. But yeah, man, I loved it. Great character arcs, great character moments in this. Again, it really just loves to see, especially like you see here, familiar characters coming back. Jessica Jones coming back, Brent from like the Netflix shows of Daredevil, who you've seen go from a beat cop to a detective. When he showed up, I almost cried because I was
I still don't know who the fuck Cherry is.
There he is. I was waiting for you to say that.
Why the fuck is he right there?
I should have put that shit on Polymarket. Yo, Will Seamus say, who the fuck is Cherry? Because every time
I still don't know who he is. It's not
it.
even like you would have that bet's odds would have been terrible because they would have been like, yeah, of course he's gonna say that because who the fuck is that guy? I still don't know who the fuck he is. He's in this goddamn show. And he just fucking just hangs around, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why is he taking up screen time? All he did was have a heart attack that one time.
Oh,
that was it.
Gosh.
I put that. Like I said, okay. I know you put it between season 3 and 1. I would put this just below season 1.
Okay.
It's a very close. They're like touching. They're like right here. They're very close, but I think there are just some things about this show that don't quite reach season 1. I do think partially is how it looks, and it pissed me off because they had that one flashback episode where they made it look like the original show, and I was like, motherfucker, you could have just done this the whole time?
Yeah.
That was like that frustrated me a little bit. There's some character things that I was like, it doesn't quite work for me. Not as clean and cut as the original series. But like you were saying, this is still like, I think to put it in perspective, like we talk about how like season 2 of Daredevil's like not that good, but like if we're comparing it to like just other shows and other stuff, season 2 of Daredevil is still like one of the best seasons of television I've watched.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying bullshit.
And so Daredevil Born Again season 2, while it has its issues, it's still like incredible television. That I'm like, that shit was
it made me so happy.
Really good.
It made me so happy because like thank God that they brought they have this new creative team who I'm assuming is also I think were a part of the original Netflix. Some of them were part of the original Netflix production team. They did a great job. They kind of sometimes they even enhanced some of the stuff they did, at times back from when they did back on Netflix. Now that they have like a Disney level. Now that Disney is giving them a higher budget to work with. It was so good. It was so good. Again, we're gonna go into spoilers, in a second. But it got me really excited to see where we go, in season 3. And obviously because they're taking a lot of like this, even Born in season 1, and this took a lot of inspiration from like Zdarsky's arc, from Charles Soule's arc a little bit. There's some Brubaker in there.
Mikey.
Dude, I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna put it up. Look at that. We're getting there. We're getting there, bro.
Here, man. We did it.
We're gonna talk about that in theories, but like
we made it.
Oh god, I'm so excited. It is. Oh, dude, let's go into it, bro. I can't.
Hop in.
Let's hop in.
Everyone already knows how we feel about Daredevil. If they're here and they don't know how we feel about Daredevil, they're gonna find out.
Yeah, we spoke in that Daredevil Born Again pack like all day. Like that's how it is.
We love Daredevil so much. We once did like a 10-hour podcast of every show and review, and I had to tap out because I got ill halfway through it.
I know.
and remember what season I got ill during?
Was it Iron Fist?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it was like
season 2, and I went, no, I can't do it.
Season 2 wasn't bad though. It wasn't bad.
No, but when you're like 10 hours into a podcast and you've already talked about all of Daredevil and all of Luke Cage, when you start getting to like the back half of Jessica Jones and Iron Fist, you are kind of like, I can't do it.
You know what?
Do it.
I'm gonna put that in the corner too, people. Check that one out. That was back on Students of Shield. That was a good time.
Find the link to that one.
but yeah, so yeah, we'll get into spoilers in a second. So again, people, if you haven't already, please go watch all 8 episodes of Born Again season 2 on Disney Plus or wherever you can watch it. Born Again season 2, and then please come back. All right, so we're gonna go into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All right, spoiler territory. Okay. So real quick, I know Shimmy, you kind of brushed on a little bit. Do you have any dislikes you want to get out the way right now before we go into our character and all that stuff?
Rapid fire dislikes. Matt and Karen have never been that believable to me.
Really? Okay.
I always enjoy them as a. It's one of the only romances I enjoy more as a will they won't they kind of like they're not really together but they really want to be together, and I really would prefer it, and I think that's more interesting just because I think that the vibes they bring are just too odd. Whenever I see them together and they're like fully together and they're kissing in front of everyone, I never believe it. The chemistry for me is not there, you know what I mean? Whenever I found that whenever they do like they're about to kiss, but they might not kiss. The chemistry's totally there. And I'm like, that's what it should have been. It should have been like, will they, won't they, whatever. But then Matt ends up with Elektra now. Because him and Elektra always, like in season 2, they had that chemistry on lock that I was like, yep, I'm ready to watch them fuck on screen right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That part I've never. So that this whole season being centered around them being together, I was always like, it was always more of like a sure, whatever. For me,
Okay,
you know what I
here's
mean?
the thing with me, just in terms of like Daredevil lore, like I can see where you're coming from. I disagree a little bit. I like the relationship a lot in this season. We're talking about Karen and Matt, individually. But I thought the relationship was it was fine. I especially like in terms of their beliefs and how to go about things, how that clashed with their relationship. I thought that was very interesting.
That was interesting, but we also could have gotten that without the weird relationship parts that don't work.
But that's
like you think about it, whenever they're like kissing or whenever they're trying to be all lovey, I don't believe it, and you don't believe it either. I can tell you're like, I don't believe it either. I just really like when they butt heads, relationship wise, and Karen's like, we gotta kill these guys, and Matt's like, no, I'm a Christian, we can't kill.
I was getting to that. Like again, I do like the relationship. I do like the butting of heads a little bit more. But that's the thing when it comes to Daredevil. It's like for me personally, I understand Karen and Daredevil had a relationship. Karen, was a lover to Daredevil. That Daredevil, keeps in his heart, especially after she dies. But then when Elektra comes in, I kind of forget about it. Like it's like
I was gonna say, Comic Karen's been dead for like 30 years too.
Almost 30 years. Almost.
She's been dead almost 30 years, and it's like, and no one's felt the need to bring her back because we got Elektra at home. And that's where it's at. And that's and the stuff they were doing with Karen this season was just like reheating Elektra's nachos. Get it? Get it? Come on, that was really good. But it was because it's you're just putting another theme. You're slotting in another female character who is more willing to go down a darker path and putting that at odds with Matt. And it works much better when it's Elektra, because Elektra's a trained assassin who Matt can't control. She's like as strong as Matt. And that's why them butting heads is so interesting, because it's someone who is equal to him. Whereas when it's Karen doing that to Matt, even Karen's like, you know what I mean? All right, Matt, we'll go with you. Like, she concedes, you know what I mean? Whereas Elektra would have just gone off and done it anyway on her own. And you would have been like, shit, Matt's now got to fight. You know what I mean? And I think that's why their dynamic also just doesn't work for me in the show. And not that the acting's bad or that any of it. It's literally just a personal preference dynamic thing where I'm just like, I just personally don't enjoy it. Not to say that they don't have scenes together where it does work. Like whenever they're at the Indian, any scene in that Indian restaurant, I was like, all right, I'm bought in a little bit. This is really good. They're both on it. You know what I mean? And when they're out doing shit together, I'm like, okay, I see it. It's just some of the conversation scenes, some of the stuff where they're like having differing ideologies. I was just like, and then they make out or they're laying in bed together, and you're like, I don't believe this. This is not real. And then and who the fuck is Cherry? Who is that guy? He's standing right there, and I still don't know what the fuck he does. He's just bald and old.
Yeah, I'll say this. Yeah, that's one of my dislikes. Is like what?
Matt has a shriveled nutsack friend, and I'm supposed to care about him.
Cherry don't need to be here. Like, I mean, I like Cherry a little more in this season than last season, because they give him a lot more to do. But like, I guess, he don't need to be here. We're kind of good. Also, even though obviously it's for continuity's sake, this is a casualty the last season. But like, why the fuck? I wish Foggy was here, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, I would have loved to see Foggy in this joint.
I'm okay with him being dead because I think that that one episode was such a good use of him that I was like, and then that episode compounding how deep his absence has felt, I was like, okay, that was so well done that I'm okay with him being dead.
You're talking about the flashback, right, where they're in college?
Yes, that whole flashback scene, that whole flashback episode made his absence hurt that much more, which I thought was great, and it was a great usage of him in that one episode, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's perfect, because that's how you make a death matter and make it feel like you're like, fuck, like an actual dude I love died. And that's how you also raise stakes in a show. You kill a character, and then you make their death felt, and you make it matter, and you make it meaningful in a way that makes you go like, no, I want to see them fucking get this dude who killed them. You know what I mean? And And then because this season you can't really do the I want to see them get the dude that killed him, because they're doing something else with the dude that killed him, and it's way more interesting. And then that also is on top of like, well, I want to see Foggy avenged, but also Bullseye's kind of like doing he's on his own journey.
Yeah,
and
man.
I'm really interested in that. And so I think it's valid that you didn't like that Foggy wasn't there, but I do think that the way they did it turned out to be a very meaningful absence that I appreciated. Another dislike could White Tiger not have gotten her like costume? Like why does she look like a January 6th fucking rioter? I don't like that.
I would assume I'm gonna assume that we'll get it eventually. However, you know me and like streetwear for costumes, bro. I'm a sucker for it. So like
it's just Hector Ayala already had his costume.
Yeah, this costume was literally made out of like a hoodie and shit. Like you know.
I'm saying, why couldn't she have sewn hers? And also, that's what I hate, Mikey. I hate that I always have to wait to see the costume.
Yeah,
I'm watching a comic book show. Why the fuck can't I get my comic book costume right now? Look who's standing right next to him or her. Look at that. Daredevil's in a fucking like burned out fucking Daredevil costume. Like that's the most comic book shit I've ever seen. You're telling me she couldn't have put on like a white tiger mask and just left it at that?
I think she should have at least had the mask.
That's my point. My point. Imagine that whole that whole outfit, but instead of that January 6th bandana, she's got the white tiger mask on.
I think they were acknowledged. They're trying to give that idea of like revolution and all that, the bandanas and with protests and all that stuff. Put it, No, shut the fuck up. But it's a revolution led by superheroes. So the superhero leader should look like that, and maybe a little revolution because that's why Daredevil has like the chipped away, burned out suit, because that's his revolutionary suit. That's why she should have the mask on, but then the rest of it's like the tactical shit. You know what I mean? And then it differentiates her from the rest of the crowd instead of just having her be like black and white. You know what I mean? I just want to see a fucking costume sometimes, man. Yeah, for sure.
Punisher got a fucking costume? What the fuck?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen. I digress. But let's
anyway, I think that's it for my dislikes, honestly.
Yeah, I don't have any really. Like, I can't think of any. I really enjoyed this season, bro. I don't really have much. Other than like Terry and
some of the wigs look funny, but I like when wigs look funny in shows. And
that's hilarious.
So that's all I want to say about the wig, because I saw a lot of people in the flashback episode, especially, they were tweeting about Vanessa's wig and Matt's wig and Foggy's wig, and I was like, no,
really
guys,
paid attention to it.
No, like I watched Dexter. I love when flashbacks have goofy ass fucking wigs. You know what I mean? We should be having more flashback scenes that look like when Michael C. Hall had that long hair in the Dexter flashback scene. When he was supposed to be like 18.
I stopped complaining about bad wigs a long time ago after watching
That's what I'm saying. I love bad wigs. So anyway.
After watching Mad Tyler Perry movies growing up, I didn't give a shit about bad wigs after that.
Literally.
Honestly. All right, so we'll just get into characters. So best character mode.
I swear to fucking God, if you have a cherry slide, I'm gonna be so mad.
No, I don't. I told you it's all the characters I deemed important.
But I was scared you would have done it for the bit just to make me mad. And you would have been like, all right, we're talking about cherry next, and I would have beat the shit out of you.
I should have, but no, I wouldn't do that to you. I would do that to myself. Honestly.
You'd raise my blood pressure. You know, my blood pressure is actually very good, despite how much I yell on this podcast.
Yeah. No, me too.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But yeah, bro. All right, so we're gonna combine like favorite characters, and favorite moments as well, because like that's what we usually. That's how the conversation tends to spill out. So we'll just do both. But yeah, so we'll start it off real quick. So first character up, obviously our GOAT, our Lord and Savior, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox. I mean, it's. I don't really have any notes. He obviously did a fantastic job. Love Daredevil's arc in the season. Love how especially his continued clash with him dealing with Kingpin. Now Kingpin with more power. Obviously from what happened with Daredevil in season 1. Him being kind of more of a resistance leader. It's very Devil's Reign coded. From the Zdarsky run. I loved it a lot. Love the suit. Love how they actually like kind of have to how they physically kind of portrayed, you know, Daredevil coming back into the light physically with his suit, going with the dark red that's more evocative of like Shadowland, and you know him being more covert, but him being in hiding, but him, you know, and the slowly all the course of the show when he pretty much, you know, goes to the point where he reveals who he is, stepping into the light, the red starts to bleed more and more. The black starts to chip away, and the red starts to come more and more. I love how like the suit was a literal metaphor for the entire fucking season, first arc, and I loved it. Yeah, man. I don't even know. I'm like losing my train of thought. I don't write any notes, but I loved Matt in this season, dude. This is some of the best Daredevil shit we've gotten in some time, and since the Netflix era. Yeah, man. I love it. I mean,
I wanted to say that very interesting how Daredevil is able to pull off a retread of a character arc in a way that the Punisher was unable to, because in this season we kind of get a retread of his arc from season 3, where he's very much at a crossroads of whether or not he should just straight up fucking murder Kingpin yet again. And the way that they turn it kind of on its head is the idea that now Kingpin isn't like he's whereas before he was kind of like a untouchable hovering above the city, you know what I mean, influence that was kind of like more of like a ghost that ruled over the city than anything. They turned the dynamic on its head by now Kingpin being such a public and powerful figure.
Yeah.
You know, because now the whole change to the dynamics, like Kingpin is now like out in the world, and he's like has supporters in the streets, and like he's taking over the police force. He's no longer the shadowy figure that sits in a penthouse and like organizes crime through intermediaries that like, you know what I mean? Oh, he's secretly running the city. And now it's no secret that he's running the city. And Matt now has to weigh the idea of killing Kingpin not as like a personal loss, whether or not he wants to give up his own morals, but also the wider political implications of assassinating the mayor of New York City in front of everyone. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of dynamic works in this season because of those changes that they make. Whereas Punisher kind of just felt like we were retreading pre-season 1 Punisher stuff, and there wasn't really any kind of dynamic change on its head that was like, well, you know, after the Punisher, you know what I mean? Because I think that cameo by Karen in the Punisher show should the Punisher like one shot thing.
Yeah,
I think should have been the whole thing, and it should have been how Karen and her influence on the Punisher as an intermediary between her and Matt, where she sometimes will do stuff that, you know what I mean, might lean more towards the Punisher, but she still has morals like Matt, and her kind of being a guiding light between the two would have worked far better in the Punisher one shot if it was her as the ghost who is kind of like leading Punisher to be a better person throughout the one shot. In the same way that in this, she's kind of trying to lean Matt into not being a worse person, but maybe like letting some of his morals go for the sake of saving the city. By being like, nah, Matt, I think we might have to fucking kill this dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes her character super interesting. And that's what makes Matt's arc in this super interesting, because he is at like a complete crossroads and he's being pulled in every different direction. And he has to go into hiding, and he can't be Matt Murdock in public anymore. And he's like, you know what I mean, having to deal with the idea of killing Kingpin while also juggling keeping streets safe, and Karen like trying to get him to help people out while also like, you know, trying to keep people safe, and like and they're like raiding those like anti-vigilante task force, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
locations
like the detention centers. The detention centers.
Yeah, and Matt, the whole first half is kind of just like not catatonic, but he's just like, man, I don't even know what to do. I'm just like one guy right now, and I can't do all of this, and I'm getting fucked. So like, and I have to stop like the Bullseye from assassinating Vanessa, and I got to do all this shit. You know what I mean? And
which is why I put the second half of the story is him like building a resistance, and him.
Yes,
he needs help from the people in order to enact what he wants
Exactly,
to
and
enact.
that's why this specific season felt the most aptly titled Born Again, because it felt the closest to Born Again, where Matt is completely broken to the point where he's like, I don't even know what the fuck to do anymore. I don't have I don't have a secret identity anymore. I don't have any of this shit anymore, because like I'm done and I'm fucking kind of tired of it. You know what I mean? And then at the end, the big, like, you know, the back half, like you said, what keeps him going is the fact that the people are also behind him and they're relying on him, and he doesn't want to let them down. And that's why I love this arc so much, because, you know, that flashback with Foggy about Mercy, factoring into his idea to build a resistance that is better than the anti-vigilante task force, comprised of people who want to stop the Kingpin and save the city for the sake of Mercy. You're like, yeah, that's so lit. Man. It's so good. It was such a better arc than season 1, where season 1 was kind of like a whatever, who knows what's going on. This was far more focused, and I enjoyed it a lot more.
And real quick, just to talk about just some quick moments. Yeah, the scene where he goes to the vigilante task force detention center to free everybody. Shout out to Swordsman, because I remember, like, I just remembered that, like the first 2 episodes were like the trial of Swordsman, and I love that. Shout out to Swordsman, like, shout out to Swordsman for showing up in that. But I love that scene a lot, where, like, he's just like he's going into the detention center, seeing the conditions of how Kingpin is treating people, because obviously he's taking people in without due process. Sound familiar? And then the escape, and that's when he starts to build that resistance. I love that scene a lot. But Seamus, we gotta talk about, because I just rewatched it before we started, while you were playing Rivals, and I was, you know, getting my shit together. That courtroom scene, holy fuck! Like that scene. And I'm gonna say this off rip. I don't care if people disagree. I think this is the truth. That courtroom scene in episode 8 is the best Daredevil moment ever. Like it's where when Matt uses use Kingpin's, you know, ego and hubris against him by having him reveal that he is Daredevil to the public, that he was the witness on the on the ship of when Kingpin blew it up, that he's the ultimate witness to foil Kingpin, to expose Kingpin's exploits. I thought that was amazing. I thought, like, we were watching it together, me, you, and Declan. We were just like,
best scene though. I do have to take umbrage with the best scene ever.
Okay. I think it's the best scene we've ever gotten.
No, dude. I think the end of season 3, where he's beating him and he just screams right in his face.
That is pretty good. That is also
you're never topping that. That was a generational. That was like a holy shit. This was right there. It's right there. But that scene for me, like, I can't even describe, like, how I was like ascending out of my goddamn chair during that scene. This scene, I fully got up. The courtroom scene, I got up and I was like this. Yeah. But, like, that scene, I literally had to get up and go for a walk afterward, because I was like, fuck.
Really?
Yes.
They're both checkmate scenes, bro. They're literally checkmate scenes. Yeah. Straight up. Like, it's like, Matt, like
checkmate on the guy.
I also love that scene as well. Like, I'm not, like, for me, it's like there's something about this scene though where it's like, wow, like fuck it, he got him. Like what can Kingpin do after this? Like, he kind of like, you know, after he revealed his identity to the world, the revealed identity to the courtroom, and yet still had to, and it still, you know, got carried free because of it, and he lost again. Like, and also to nod to season 3, where it's like, you know, he's like, you know, where he feels like it's like where I beat you. Like, I like it's same vibes for me, bro. But, like, for me, I just love this one a little better just because it was more public. You know, it was more public. It was more of a show, literally, to get into Kingpin's face, to play at his ego, to play at his humor. I loved that so much. Like, you know, I'm not gonna lie. When Laura was like, "We're gonna believe that a blind man is Daredevil," just throws the cane and just catches
to the cane, and we both just audibly went like, "Oh!"
That was. Oh! I think on the cane. That was a bonus. But,
yeah, that was good. That was really good. Yeah, they really nailed Matt being both, like, because Matt is always a person that is his duality is such an important part of him.
Absolutely.
The idea that he is this person that has these morals that he deeply covets, but also is a man of violence who feels the only way he can enact any kind of change is through violence and through force is super interesting. And I think they really nailed that dichotomy in this season with him being someone who is trying to be careful and measured, but then when he gets into that fucking courtroom, he goes completely fucking insane, and he's like as crazy, if not crazier, than Kingpin. And you're like, yep, that's Daredevil. That's the man without fear. That's my fucking boy. Because as soon as he gets in that courtroom, you see you can see it in his eyes, and you can see it in the way that Charlie Cox is speaking. Like, Matt is like almost like turned on by the idea that he gets to do this. You know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, because that's my fucking freak, dude.
In a position of authority where like he can technically enforce the law, but he doesn't know the law like how Matt knows the law.
Yeah,
like,
and he just like gets immediately turned on at the idea that he gets to do this big Ace Attorney reveal and be like, "Yup, fuck you,
Rick, bro." I was like, "This is great. This is good Daredevil shit." But yeah, man. But I think we should talk about this part when it comes to Kingpin, because that.
Yes,
You know where I'm getting down. It's that same episode. You know where I'm getting down. But overall, man, just to move on. Yeah, Charlie Cox. I mean, listen, bro, you did it, bro. Like you're the GOAT. Like you're the GOAT. You did your thing as you usually do. It was fantastic. I loved his performance from beginning to end. Loved it. Yeah, I don't know. You have anything else to say before we move on to Kingpin?
Nope.
All right, bet. All right, so let's move on to the next character. Obviously, the villain, the antagonist. When I was a boy, Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and also I mixed a little bit of the Vigilante Task Force as well in here, just because they kind of go hand in hand. But, I mean, okay, like it's they're two sides of the same coin. Vincent D'Onofrio did an amazing job, as always. Loved his. I think his arc was just as interesting in this, as just anything in this as Matt's was in this as well. It was fantastic. Him trying to be the good. Get it. This show's extremely meta. Like that's the thing. It's like this show is unapologetically political and is unapologetically critiquing what we're going through right now in this country with the Trump administration right now. Literally, that's exactly how Fisk is being portrayed here. Being the guy who is portraying an image of someone who's getting it done, someone who knows it all, someone who shows power, and portrays peace through power and strength. And brutality and violence. That was very well done. Even though under using that guise to enact criminal action, like smuggling weapons and money and money through official legal ports, by detaining people and arresting people who depose him. Again, it's very fascistic. Again,
I was gonna say, and it's also, I mean, we all already kind of knew Vincent D'Onofrio is an incredible actor. When you're like in your 20s and you're already starring in Stanley Kubrick films, like you got it. You know what I mean? But I think a very smart and interesting thing that Vincent D'Onofrio does is he does not play him like Trump.
Yeah,
he doesn't play him like Trump. He's not making like a Trump reference. He is more making a much larger and more thematic reference to the idea of power and how power works. You never see him doing because comparatively to Homelander, Homelander is very much doing Trump. He is a weak, ineffectual bitch who has a lot of power and is too focused on killing minorities and being like, oh, they're making memes about me. Can we kill them? You know what I mean? We should kill everyone who's trans and who makes memes about me. And Homelander is perfectly, they're doing Trump. You know what I mean? But the Kingpin is kind of, gesturing more towards the stuff that caused Trump to be president. You know what I mean? Like the way Vincent D'Onofrio plays Kingpin, he treats Trump as more of a symptom of something larger, which is very much true. And I think that's what makes his Kingpin more timeless and more interesting. The idea that he's not playing him like Trump, he's playing him like a fascistic despot who has grabbed power and refuses to let go, which has been a thing throughout history and is what's caused some of history's darkest moments.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why his portrayal of Kingpin, even though it definitely is evoking a lot of Trump-isms, I think it's only evoking a lot of Trump-isms in the sense that Trump is also a fascist abusing power in the same way that Kingpin is a fascist abusing power. But Kingpin's portrayal seeks to cut more close to the idea of how they get this power and why they are using this power. You know what I mean? Because Kingpin's constantly talking about, like, when he was a boy, he was weak and ineffectual, and he had this thing inside him that was broken when he was younger. And since then, he's been using power to kind of remedy it and cover it up rather than truly trying to fix it. And it's both the thing that caused him to gain as the most power he's ever seen in his life, but it's also the thing, like we've seen in the season, that causes him to experience some of the worst loss in his life. Like with Vanessa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that kind of character dynamic works really well with Matt, because like we were talking about with Matt, in the same dichotomy Matt has, where he's this crazy dude who's broken inside, who's using something to cover it up and try to fix it instead of truly trying to do the work to like lock in and try to fix it. Matt's like vice is like he will kill himself to do good and save people, whereas Kingpin's vice is he will die trying to grab and hold on to power, and he'd rather die than give it up. And I think that's why Kingpin is so fucking good in this season, because every time it's a Kingpin scene or any kind of that, it's literally just a direct spotlight on like this dude who is like just trying to do everything to like hold on to power, even if it means like bullying the governor or like you know, forcing his like little like his little slave boy Daniel to like do his dirty work for him, and, like, getting Buck to assassinate people and shit. You know what I mean?
He'll do whatever it takes to maintain his power by any means. That's he does not care. And again, like
and the idea that he has surrounded himself with these yes men who will do anything to also hold on to the bits of power he's feeding them is like a direct opposition to Matt, who at the start of the series has nothing and realizes, hey, Kingpin has all these people around him. Maybe I should get my own people too, but just treat them with respect. Yeah. And that's how he gets his army at the end, which is like, you're like, fuck yeah. And Daredevil's army's stronger than Kingpin's because they all believe in the actual cause instead of they're holding on to power. Because as soon as Kingpin shit goes south, everyone leaves them because they're like, hey, we're fucked. We got to get out of here.
And the thing the thing with Kingpin's with Kingpin's crew is that like they like because the loyalists, they're yes men, they're only with him due to Kingpin enacting fear on them. You know what I mean? Like they're allied with him through fear, not through the actual like belief in the cause. Whereas Matt, as you said, actually inspires people to like, you know, aspire people to rise up for a cause, to band together for a cause, to form a coalition through like, you know, strength through community. I love
people that. Like volunteering rather than Kingpin like forcing people to work for him at gunpoint. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Instead of
cool.
being
I love Kingpin. Fucking dude, he's so fucking good.
Yeah,
he's such a good antagonist. I totally understand why he's been the antagonist for every season, because it's like, dude, sorry, I love like sure Daredevil has other villains, but like, can you name them? No, I don't give a fuck. What no, I don't care.
The thing is, like, it's very interesting with Kingpin is because like this is the most we've seen Kingpin like break, and it's really interesting in terms of like the psyche of Kingpin in terms of like this is a man who pretty much is an animal, like embracing all this power, but that's why he has Vanessa to kind of keep him in control. When she's off the field, this is when you know this is where the beast can truly come out, and he gets more and more dangerous. Like it's the most dangerous you've seen Kingpin ever, I think, so far. Do the state of power that
and it's because Vanessa played the same role as Karen, where she was trying to get Kingpin to kind of move away from where he thought his center was, and as soon as she's lost, he goes crazy and starts becoming more unhinged because he's doing what he believes is right rather than what he knows is logical.
Yeah.
And in the same way as when Karen gets arrested and she goes away, that's when Matt goes a little crazy and gets in the courtroom and starts doing his whole song and dance number. You know what I mean? But he's doing it to save her, whereas Kingpin's only doing it to save himself.
Yeah.
And it's like all these little like yin and yang situations that they got set up in the script is really what makes Kingpin and Daredevil like so central to the show. It's so like if you're gonna get rid of Kingpin, you better have a fucking crazy idea for who's coming next, because like there's not really many people who can follow this up in the same way.
We'll get to that in theories on who we think that person.
I don't think it's going to be anyone. I think they're bringing Kingpin back next season. He's
doing it again. We'll talk about it real quick though. What are your thoughts on? Because I have it up here, like, because a big part of about Kingpin's, well, a big aspect of the Kingpin's as Kingpin as the mayor is the anti-vigilante task force. They're a big part of this show in terms of as a weapon that Kingpin can control, because they're his they're used as his personal army. They're used as his Gestapo. Obviously, that could be an allegory for how we perceive ICE right now in this country. What are your thoughts on that stuff? Because I know, like, we get a little bit of like the stuff with like they do some of the stuff with like Cole North and the other douche, the lead douchebag that's in charge of the that commands the AFTV. I'm forgetting his name. What are your thoughts on some of that stuff? Because again, they don't hold back. I remember the beginning of the show, like the first couple episodes, they're detaining people off the streets. They took Angela's aunt in custody for no reason, just for being in the wrong place, wrong time. They were. I remember that at one point where they went to that Croatian restaurant, and like they literally just started harassing people. Like it's very meta for what we've experienced, for the past year, almost a year and a half now. So what are your thoughts on that, bro?
No, that shit was great. I thought that the way they used the anti-vigilante task force in a way that was very indicative and very it was definitely gesturing like a lot towards how ICE is operating in the United States nowadays. I think that it was done in a way that was not overbearing. It wasn't like it was like too like, guys, get it. It was just like, no, they're unjustly putting people in cages. Yeah. I wonder who that could be about. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're like, we all know they didn't have to do a big. And it was the same way that they don't directly evoke Trump when they're doing Kingpin. It's the same thing here, because they're like, well, it technically doesn't even have to be ICE, because there have been thousands of government task force used over the years that have operated in the same way ICE has, that have put innocent people who are enemies of the government in cages for no good reason. Yeah. Like you said with the Gestapo. You know what I mean? Like the way that they less try to directly invoke Trump and more try to directly invoke the systemic issues that lead to someone like Trump or something like the anti-vigilante task force rising to power is what makes the show better, because they're not directly boxing it into a time period. Yeah, and I like it. That's why I like their usage a lot. That fight scene in the detention center was sick as fuck.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I love Kingpin a lot.
My favorite moment was in the same phase finale when Kingpin comes in to testify, and Matt decides to examine him. He gets the entire task force in there as well to remind not just everyone, just not everyone of the situation, but just Matt. Like, I could wave my hand and I could light this bitch up right now if I wanted to. Just remember that. Like, it was a power flex. They physically embodied that. I love that a lot. Real quick, so before we move on, we gotta talk about again at the end, because we talked about this off camera in terms of at the end when anti-January 6 happened. Crazy moment. That's when, like, because like again, Kingpin, now that he's pretty much lost everything. He lost his wife. He lost his reputation, and he was about to lose. And he essentially lost his position in government. Because he'd rather die than get rid of power. He just lash out and explodes. It was a buildup of everything he went through throughout the course of the show. He just unleashed himself on the civilians on the civilians of the city he claims to love. You know, I loved it
because it was again indicative of fascism in the way that he claims to love the citizens of the city, but as soon as they do something that he doesn't agree with, they're immediately painted as traitors who have to be killed immediately. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was so well done, and that scene was so brutal, and it was so just like it was so like Kingpin going full mask off and just being like, yeah, I actually hate every single one of these people. They actually don't fucking matter to me. I wish I could kill all of them like this. And you're like, oh, dude.
And then that scene, especially with like when he gets ganged up by like a bunch of civilians, a bunch of pro Daredevil civilians, and Matt and Jessica step in and try to save him because obviously Matt's moral code, he doesn't want the civilians to end up, you know, if anyone loses, if you can murder someone, you're just as bad as a Kingpin, you know. Even though I love that, especially like that resolution, and then obviously Kingpin decided to took the deal to be exiled from the country and renounce his citizenship and just leave. I told you off camera, I thought it would have been even though they weren't gonna do it, I thought it would have been a little more poetic if the civilians actually beat Kingpin to death, to be as like a metaphor of like of the people that you claim to love, the people that you claim to want to save and to help, end up becoming your own downfall. Literally, that's what I like. The civilians end up eating the Kingpin alive, metaphorically speaking. Yeah. I would have loved that, but again, I understand because of the commentary they're touching on. I don't think they would want to do that, especially they want to like.
I mean, they should. Because that's what should happen.
Yeah, that should happen. But like,
and to that end, I was just like, I don't know. It just felt like they totally should have had that happen. Because also, like, well, where do you go with the Kingpin from here?
I know, and you want to use Vincent D'Onofrio again because he's Vincent fucking D'Onofrio. So,
yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough situation. I personally would have liked to have seen him got his big ending this season because it kind of ended in a way that was like, that's cool, but like you can't really go anywhere from there because like he's done. Like, what do you have him like? How are you gonna have him come back? Honestly, tell me right now because like he can't.
After this,
I would have preferred him have more of a final ending and then have the villain of the next season be someone who is trying to like take up the mantle of the Kingpin in a way, you know what I mean, and is more ineffectual than Kingpin but is causing more chaos, which is why they need to bring the Defenders back and shit, you know what I mean. Something along that lines would have been cool, but yeah, he's probably gonna be the fucking main villain the next season. He's gonna come, it's gonna be somehow Palpatine returned, but like somehow the Kingpin bought the election, you know what I mean.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, bro. I'm good. So I think we'll move on to the next set of characters. We already talked about them a good amount so far this conversation, which is great. But just touch on it real quick. But Karen Page and Vanessa Fisk, played by Deborah Ann Wool and Ayelet Zurer. I mean, we pretty much already said a good chunk of what we wanted to say with the Wilson and Daredevil discussions. But again, I thought Deborah Ann Wool did a good job. Did a good job as she always does.
She's always great as Karen. I love her a lot as Karen. Yeah, my gripes with the dynamic have nothing to do with her as an actress.
Absolutely not.
I love her a lot.
And again, I love that like and with her arc and as an individual, not as obviously outside of Matt, was that like she was getting more and more darker, more and more willing to be able to kill, in order to act, in order to make sure that her problems go away, which Matt kind of pulls her away from. Towards the end of the show, again, it was her acting more Frank-like in this one.
Which I liked.
A really good conflict, but I liked. Vanessa Fisk, great. Ayelet Zurer did a really good job as always. Again, that was my big takeaway from Born Again season 1. I really love seeing Vanessa Fisk being just as bad as Wilson, even though she is his, well, to quote a thing from Daredevil season 3 from Netflix shows, but she is Kingpin's North Star. She is the one that kind of reels Fisk back into not necessarily humanity, but more in terms of tapping to more of his empathy and think more about more of his logic and reason, and then focusing more on his rage. Even though she loves seeing his rage. I mean, that's kind of what turns her on. Not gonna lie. But just seeing that, just seeing more, having her be the gangster, kind of resenting Fisk in season 1 and going into season 1, but now being more of the reminder. Yeah, she's still a bad person, but she is the North Star that keeps Kingpin from being the beast that we saw unleashed during Anti-January 6th at the season finale, which I really enjoyed her scene of when after Dex puts her in the hospital, her kind of going back and forth into or near going back and forth between a near death and going back and forth between life and death, and experiencing her first time meeting Wilson, giving us that reminder of why she fell in love with him, of the importance they have for each other. I really liked that a lot. So when she was gone, I was like Cecil and Invincible, bro. I was like, and when Conquest escaped, I was like, shit, this is bad. Like, I was like, wow. So I loved it. So props to both these ladies, for real. They killed it with these arcs.
They great arcs. I'm glad that Vanessa died. That was interesting. That was cool. I think it was time for her to go. And it led to Kingpin having a much stronger back half of his arc. And I was like, yeah, cool, lit, fun, And like I said, I love Karen as always. God bless Deborah and all.
Of course, bro. Yeah, it was great.
I hope that God of War spinoff's true.
Oh, that she's gonna be
They're doing a Faye spinoff of God of War that's going to be her starring as Faye. Dude, even better. Apparently, it's not going to play like God of War Ragnarok. It's going to be straight a Devil May Cry game with her.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I love next year.
Did she voice? She wasn't in the actual games, was she?
Yes, dude.
She was, right? She was Faye.
She's Kratos' wife. She's
Kratos' wife. Yeah. I forgot.
Her whole ass. She's only in Ragnarok. She was in the first one, and it's like a voice cameo.
Yeah.
And then in Ragnarok, her whole ass. She got her whole face scanned and everything. It's straight up her. Because I remember when I was playing it, and I saw her, and I go, "Is that fucking Karen Page as Kratos' wife?"
Because I forgot. Because I forgot if she was Kratos' wife or. Because I forget her name, the voice actress, but I only know her from True Jackson VP. You know what I'm talking about, like the white lady.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was. I wasn't sure if it was her. It was Deborah Ann Woll, if it was her as that character. But I think she played somebody else. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Anyway, I love these two. God bless them.
Yeah. We love them. All right. This is where I'm going to start. Even though we had a great conversation with Matt and Wilson. This is the part where I gotta gush, because even though I love Kingpin in the show, I'm sorry, I gotta gush about my boy. I gotta gush about my guy. About my guy Seamus. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about, I guess, like the secondary, kind of antagonist yet turned kind of ally in the show. But we gotta talk about my boy Benjamin Dex Poindexter, aka Bullseye, played by Wilson Bethel. Listen, I gotta put on the soundboard.
Yeah, listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that,
bro. Best. It was just nice to be reminded. This is why. It's nice to be reminded how stupid the original creative team of Born Again were for not having this full comeback. Are you fucking kidding me? This man was incredible in the show. He killed it as
again, just another dislike. Goddamn, just put him in the fucking suit, guys.
I know. That is your gripe. Even though this is their version of like the Bullseye solo run suit, but I
don't like that suit anyway in the comics either. So I think
it's fine. I think it's fine. Even though I
don't like it. But can you imagine him doing all this shit with the Bullseye suit and everything?
Yes, of course. And honestly, that's what I hope they do next. Did you see that clip I sent you where Wilson Bethel's like, "Listen, I'm you guys. I hope we get that suit."
I know he wants it. Everyone fucking wants it, but the writers are like, nah.
Yeah. But I digress, man.
Okay, I was gonna say, suit is like small potatoes compared to the fact that they have given him a interesting and incredible character arc that works as a foil to both Kingpin and Daredevil, and making him this this very unhinged force of nature type character that is only there for his own goals of some kind of oddly cosmic scale balancing that he views as some kind of soul saving mission. It's so cool to me. It's so cool and interesting. And every scene he was in, they decided to just go crazy with it and do the most ridiculous fight scene you've ever seen. And you were just like, yeah, this is exactly what I
had to change it up for a second because my GIF wasn't working. But because I love this shot, bro, with the forks. Dude, yeah, it was him. Like the fact that like Dex, trying to find a way to give himself kind of like sort of like a penance or like a sort of like a redemption from what happened last season with Foggy, to feel like he owes Matt Murdock, and he owes Matt Murdock in a sick, twisted way. And even Matt being like, I don't give a fuck if you owe me or not. Like, I don't fucking like you, but I need you in this situation. So he kind of uses, instead of, isn't really a partnership or an allyship, but he kind of uses like how Kingpin is using the anti-vigilante task force as a weapon against Daredevil and the Resistance. Matt uses Bullseye as his own personal weapon to go after Fisk, even though in Dex's twisted way of redemption and penance, he ends up making one of the biggest mistakes in the show, which is killing Vanessa. And that kind of causes Fisk to go more unhinged and go even more authoritarian. But yeah, I really love Dex in the show, bro. Man, he like Wilson Bethel makes, obviously he's twisted as fuck, but a little charismatic. Like he's charismatic. He's just cool and fun to watch. Like, again, he masters the one thing that I look, because Bullseye, I don't know if I meant this, he's my favorite Marvel villain just because Daredevil's one of my favorite characters. He masters the unpredictability and like the unpredictable nature of Bullseye so well. Well, you don't know what this motherfucker, you don't know what he's gonna do next. Like, he's literally chaos incarnate. He's literally like he just wants to see the world hurt and burn for fun. Like, even if that fun is excused as, even though that fun is masked as a way of making things right with Matt Murdock and Karen, and I love the fact that even when Matt takes him in after he gets shot and is in the hideout, like, I love how like Matt, that was again that Dex being alive after killing Vanessa was again instigating that conflict between Matt and Karen, because Karen really wanted Matt to fucking kill him. She not really wanted Matt to kill him. She's like, listen, I know you don't have the balls to do it due to your moral code. Let me do it for both of us. And it was like, Matt's like, no, I love how he was used as a conflict device for those two characters. Listen, man, like, I have another one to say, this is one of the, when I was saying that, like, we're back, this is one of the reasons why I was like, we're back, just to see fucking Bullseye do his thing, bro. Fine, like I loved it. Listen, even though the suit isn't the actual suit, at least they gave him the Bullseye on the forehead, which is the one thing I hated in the last thing. It was just a regular, you didn't have the symbol at all, so I was like, fuck. But yeah, man. We'll talk about Dex more in theories, but anything else you want to say about Bullseye at all? Anything you want? I didn't know a lobster claw could be that lethal, honestly.
Oh yeah, I was like, when he started throwing the lobster around, I was like, yeah, this show's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And when Daredevil uses him to save the Congresswoman so that she can be used later as a way to get as a way to, using her to further help Karen escape. I thought that was a great moment, and it made him feel like a hero for a brief second. Then you're reminded that he's still fucking Bullseye. Yeah, man. So listen, bro, Wilson Bethel,
I'm gonna say this, bro. You're that nigga, bro. You're that nigga for me, bro. I love you in this show, and I'm happy that you are properly being utilized. Although you need to be in your suit, and we'll get to that.
You be in your suit.
Yeah, you need to be in the suit you deserve to be in. All right. So the next set of characters is going to be the Fisk. I got these three. This is the Fisk Cabinet. So that's composed of Heather Glenn, Daniel Blake, and Buck. I'm not gonna call Buck by his full name just because I think his full name is so stupid. But
his legal name's Buck. I mean, why would I call him by his full name?
No, I mean but
it is his full name.
No, he has a last name. Yeah, I just don't want to say.
No, he's just Buck. If you look on his birth certificate, it just says Buck.
It's just Buck. Yeah, man. What did you think? I'll let you speak. What do you think of? Pick any of these three: Heather, Daniel, Buck.
Heather Glenn is having a weird arc. It may be the weirdest of the show. I don't really understand why she's going this insane and being this crazy.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's a little more interesting than what she had last season, in my opinion.
It's a little more interesting than whatever the fuck is going on with Cherry. It's just weird. I have to see where it pays off before I fully judge it because it's not over. It's just a little like, okay, she's going crazy, I guess. All right. Yeah. Daniel had one of the better arcs of the show too.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Gandolfini. He actually I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, his was I was just like, damn, dude, this fucking guy is it's every time whenever he talks, I hear his dad, and I'm just like, fuck, this dude has it. He has it. He got it from his dad, and he has it. His character again, had a fucking great arc this season. Again, another character death that I was like, yep. Probably exactly where it should have happened, and in a way that made me go like, "Fuck this guy." But
at the same time, I kind of hoped, even when Buck was beating the shit out of him, and you saw that gun pointers, and I was like, "He's gonna make it out of this. He's Daniel."
Did you see all that with them changing it and everything?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, because what's her name? Janaea Walton. She talked about it, I believe. Yeah, he was at first he was supposed to be alive. Will survive it.
Yeah, and then they changed it in post where they were like, yeah, there you go. And you're like, oh, interesting that was like a decision later, but like kind of cool that they were like, decided to stay. I think it's a better decision. I think it works, and I definitely think that for me, it's an interesting decision that I was like, fuck yeah, that's the type of shit you need to be making. That you need to be going, nah, he should die, because where else is he gonna go from here? And it makes BB's character arc more interesting than what she does later in the show.
It's a better motivator for BB.
Yeah. And I like Buck. I like Buck a lot. That flashback scene where they're basically like, yeah, anytime Kingpin called to have someone killed, it was Buck. I was like, yeah. That's really cool. And him killing Daniel, and his actor's great. His actor's so great at being like a cold, evil dick who's not smug, who's kind of smug about it, but he's not too smug that you're like, he's smarmy. You know what I mean?
Charming as fuck. He's charming as fuck. Like, it works for him.
That's why I like him a lot. He's really fucking good. But again, this is just a testament to how good the show is, that these three side characters all had their own arcs that were all equally spaced out, had their own time. Even as weird as Heather Glenn's was, it's at least like got its time to breathe and at least like progress.
I'll say my piece with Heather Glenn. I even though it is a bit weird where she's going, but I do like the fact that like she's processing what her attack via Muse in a very unhealthy way, and instead of dealing with that, she kind of embraces it due to the fact that she's surrounded by anger and pain. And and just unwielded power through being a part of Kingpin's administration.
100%. That part I thoroughly enjoy, and I think is the strongest aspect of her arc. I'm more talking about like her like putting on the Muse mask and like becoming Muse and all that. I'm like, you know what I mean? That for me is just like what are we doing here? Because I think the arc's strong enough on its own. The idea that this person went through a tragic event and is now retreating into fascism as a way to feel comforted and safe from the perceived horrors of the world. You're like, yeah, that's real. That's a real thing that happens to people.
And she's taking it out. And she's taking it out by harming others. Like literally.
Yes. Like, and you're like, that's a real ass thing that happens, you know? But for some reason, the insertion of her like becoming Muse is like, okay, I don't think that I think that actively hurts the story you're trying to tell with her, you know? Like
I thought that part was very like saying like that it's extremely ironic that she's a psychiatrist too. That's why I think it's kind of funny. Like she's literally processing her attack in the worst way possible through the situation that she's in, through the amounts of like power and manipulation and just anger and rage through being a part of Kingpin administration, and the fact that she's taking out her issues by harming other people, like for fun, for pleasure, like her smacking Karen in the face, her being the shot of the fucking lawyer in the courtroom, her, which was a very
and that's what I'm saying. And I think if you stop there,
like that was wild.
If you stop there, her arc is interesting enough that it's fine. Like you don't need to add in the like she's also being Muse bit too. You know what I mean? Because I think that, like I said, it just hurts the story you're trying to tell with her, because you're just like, why is she doing this shit, you know? But I think they all had good arcs. They all were solid side characters. I'm gonna be excited even though Buck killed Daniel. I'm still gonna be like,
But I think just a shout out Margarita Leviva. I think as an actor she does a good job in the role. Like this would be fair.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Better than last season. Like last season, she was annoying. But like, that's all I gotta really say. And I must say, and Buck didn't die, so he's gonna probably come back at some point. All right. So I don't know. Should we pour one out? For Daniel Blake? I don't know if we should or not.
He was a bit of a chud. I don't know if I'm gonna pour one out for him, but I am gonna feel sad that he is gone, because he tried to turn it around at the end.
He did do the right thing at the last minute.
That's what I'm saying. At the very end, he was like, "I'm gonna do the right thing," and to me, I'm like, you know what? You died doing the right thing. God bless you. I'm not gonna pour one out for you, but I am gonna be like, you know what? Good for you, man.
Mm-hmm. And also, just real quick from when it's kind of wild that people's fetishes were just being exposed throughout the course of this fucking season. It's like Heather
Matt being a foot guy, I love
Matt being a foot guy. Heather being in a choking.
Heather likes wearing masks and being choked. It's like, yes, Daredevil needs to have an entire cast that's freaked all the way out. It's not Daredevil if these people aren't kinky as shit.
I saw a post. I forgot the other one that was mentioned, but there was three. It was Kingpin's, it was Matt's, it was Heather, and it was somebody else, and I forgot. But I think I sent you a post about it, but I digress. But yeah, bro. All right, so we'll just move on to the next set of characters. So we're gonna go with BB Urich and Angela Del Toro, aka White Tiger, played by Jeanette Walton and Camila Rodriguez. I think for BB, I'm gonna say that loved her arc much better in this season. She had more to do, which I thought was great.
I don't know if she had more to do. She definitely had a bigger moment, I would say.
Really?
But I think that her more to do wasn't really more to do. It was just her being like, Daniel, I'm scared. Don't do this. And you're like, okay. And that was it for the first half. You know what I mean?
But I mean, in terms of the BB report, in terms of her doing the whole Kingpin.
That was already happening in the first bit. She was already doing the news reports. It's just now she was doing the Kingpin parody reports, which was like a non. It felt less of a important thing every episode, and more of they're just doing this so they can set up when she finally does the big actual report at the end. After
but I did think it was interesting to to go along with the themes of fascism and stuff, where BB was kind of being a member of the media, being a member of the journalistic integrity of an example of journalistic integrity. The fact that her regular BB report that we saw a lot in Daredevil in season 1 being flashed around, that we thought was cool but felt a little out of place. Here it's used to be perpetuated as a vehicle, to keep Kingpin's fascistic tendencies hidden, I think
the issue with her whole.
And it's real quick, but then the Kingpin doppelganger stuff was oh no, this is what she's actually going to be to commit to the resistance and to like to inspire others to defect again. I love how she played like both sides of the media, how media or how journalism is used was expressed through her character. I love that in terms of her art.
But my issue with the whole thing is I think it was the only criticism about fascism that didn't quite work for me, because the issue with fascism nowadays is not that they are hiding their actions from anyone. Like, we know that Trump was on Epstein Island and molested all those girls. The issue is not whether or not we know. The issue is and that's why I think BB's arc doesn't work, because her whole arc hinges on if I tell the truth, then everyone then he'll face consequences, and that's not how the world works anymore. You know what I mean? Sadly, even when you tell the truth, people will still get away with shit. And that's why I think it would be far more interesting if her arc was centered around the New York Bulletin and her working there, and the entire New York Bulletin workplace being so demoralized at the idea that they are constantly reporting Kingpin's crimes and no one gives a shit. You know what I mean? And they're struggling trying to find a way to get people to care enough to take action. I think that would have been a far more interesting arc for her, and then Daniel's death being the thing that finally lights a fire in her enough to make something like that BB report episode that finally gets the people to get the fuck up and do something. Would have been a much better arc than her kind of doing this guerrilla news broadcast where she's I'm revealing all the crimes, and it's girl, we already know all the crimes Trump's doing. I see that report every fucking week. You know what I mean? And I think the issue is trying to get people at a mass level to push for any kind of consequences. You know what I mean? I think that's the real crux of it. So that's why I think her arc doesn't work for me, because it as a criticism of a part of fascism it misses the mark a little bit, because it's hey guys, we all already know. We all already know. It's more about how are we gonna enact any kind of change, or how are we going to make him feel any kind of consequence for it? It's the same thing that should have happened to Kingpin. He's there. Everyone already knows what he's doing. This cloak and dagger stuff doesn't work because the whole point is he's not in the shadows anymore. So revealing it as some kind of clandestine ooh, it's I know. I read that in the fucking paper last week. I saw it on Twitter. It's behind a paywalled article in the New Yorker, for fuck's sake. I know. So that's my issue with her. Not she was fine. She got enough to do. Angela Del Toro was fine. She had 2 moments. I'm glad she's White Tiger. That's cool.
I'm happy she's White Tiger this quick. They didn't have to slow
it. Yeah. The fucking amulet gives her powers. That's why she can become White Tiger instantly.
Yeah.
So cool. The amulet also should have given her a fucking costume too.
Yeah,
fuck, man.
But listen, again, agree to disagree. I like the street punk.
I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you with hammers next time I'm gonna Kingpin you.
But man, I thought she was cool. I mean, I like Little Shorty. She cool, man. I thought she was cool.
She's fun. I like her actress a lot. I just would like to see her do a little more and be in a costume, and then I'd be cool. I like.
Well, I've been hoping they would give her more to do in this next season if she comes back.
Exactly. She had a pretty big moment at the end of this. It kind of would feel weird if they were anyway. You never seen her again.
Never seen her again, which sucks.
Because it's fine when Punisher does it, because Punisher regularly weaves in and out of storylines. You know what I mean?
Plus, why not utilize her? Why not let us watch her grow as a character? Because luckily, the actress, I think she's 17. She can play young for a while. She can watch the character grow up and grow more and more comfortable into the White Tiger role as we see her in more appearances, not just in this show, but if they branch out more of the Marvel television universe with the Defender stuff, we could maybe see this character grow more. I would love that. I think she's good. She's talented. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's all I gotta say on that. So moving on to second to last character, is gonna be none other than the return of the drunken PI, the the survivor of the Purple Man, the Jessica Jones, baby, by Kristen Ritter. Woo!
I love seeing her back. She didn't get enough to do though.
She didn't get enough to do, but
Yeah.
well,
kinda
first
just
off,
there,
real quick,
and you
bro,
were like-
let's drop a clues bomb for Jessica Jones and Kristen Ritter. Very happy to see her back. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry. Continue. No, you just continue.
Alright. I'm just having a moment of silence for. I'm just looking at Luke Cage a little bit. I love
Oh
that
yeah,
scene.
man. Oh,
She didn't get enough to do, but also it's Jessica Jones, and Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones is so fun to watch that it's like she could do nothing on screen and I'd be like, yeah, I love this. And to be fair, during the last episode, she did get more to do, and she was actually in there fucking
she was getting
punching heads, and I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted.
She was a part of the courtroom scheme, which I thought was great.
Yeah, but yeah, she didn't really have a bearing on the plot, more to just be backup for Matt when she needed to punch shit, which I'm like, sure, that works.
Yeah.
And the Luke Cage cameo at the end, I was like, yeah.
Well, like the biggest thing with Jessica Jones coming back was more of like, okay, there's more of an update. This is where Jessica Jones is now after not seeing her for how many years? Like several years maybe. I forgot the last time we saw Jessica Jones season 3. It was a while. It was like a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago. To seeing her where she is now in this universe, and obviously the fact that we got introduced to little Danielle Cage, that made me very happy. I was like, okay, bet. I mean, yeah, her and Luke got back together sometime after Jessica Jones ended and Luke Cage season 2 ended. And they had a child. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. Little Danielle's here. Like, that's great. And obviously, like, her teasing the fact that, Luke teased, not only just to remind us, not just to remind us that the Defender saga is canon now, which again is amazing, but the fact that, Luke is going to potentially can come back to this world and stuff. So yeah, it's just, she was just more of, here's an update. Here's the fact that remind you that, these shows are connected again, and you're going to see these characters again, and in a bigger capacity down the line. That's pretty much what her character was there for. But I'm happy that even though she didn't have a lot to do, at least she was integrated in some aspects of the plot. So that I'm happy for. Also find it very interesting that Jessica's powers after, I guess, because it says after the birth of Danielle, that her powers were fluctuating. Like, sometimes her powers just will not work. She'll lose her strength and she'll lose her invulnerability at times, which I think is very interesting. I don't have nothing else to say. I mean, we'll talk about more Jessica and Defenders.
That's all I have to say, just because she's just more there for a cameo that you're like, cool.
Yeah. We'll just skip to the last character here. We probably got nothing much to say with him, but because I love this actor a lot, I just wanted to see if you have anything. But Mr. Charles, played by Matthew Lillard. It's funny because right before this show started, I just watched him on another show because he was on Cross season 2 and he was great in that as the antagonist in that show. So you see him as another antagonist in this show that was really cool. I don't really know what to say on him. He was just Matthew Lillard being a government dick and a government.
It was fun. It definitely felt like he was the most we're setting this up for something way later thing that I was like,
yeah,
okay, you could have done you could have had 2 scenes with him and left it at that instead of him showing up a bunch to not pay off at all,
Yeah.
But I like Matthew Lillard. He was fun. It was fine. He didn't do anything I don't really care about as a character.
Yeah, who was talking shit on Matthew Lillard and Paul Dano again?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino, go fuck yourself. Matthew Lillard's a great actor. Shit.
Quentin Tarantino is annoying. He makes great movies, but god damn it, is he just the most annoying dude whenever he's not talking about. Even when he's talking about movies, he's annoying. But
yeah, because after watching,
he is the most. Quentin Tarantino, real quick, is the most shut up and dribble director I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he literally is the most just, dude, shut the fuck up and make movies. I don't give a fuck about anything you have to say.
Yeah, man, that's those are the vibes of them for real. But yeah, Matthew Lillard I mean, yeah, he was fun. Nice to see him kind of like, you know, as the big government agent guy, kind of challenge Kingpin a lot, which I thought was really nice. To see Kingpin like, you know, kind of uncomfortable with the fact that this guy who is smaller than him, tell him what to do, even though this guy also has as much power as if no more power than him because he's a part of the federal government. So like, you know, yeah. So it was just nice to see him, and hopefully we're probably gonna see him again next season, maybe. But yeah, I got nothing else to say on him. Just love Matthew Lillard. I mean, if people haven't seen him in Cross season 2, watch that shit. He was really good in that. Yeah, for anything else to say before we go?
Nope.
Nada. All right, so now we're getting to the theories portion of it. I got a couple of topics that we'll start. We can like start, you know, bringing up starting conversations with. But for starters, obviously with the ending of Daredevil Born Again season 2, we saw Matt get arrested in at the Panay Indian restaurant. Obviously after he exposed himself, he exposed identity as Daredevil to the public.
He exposed himself.
You know what I meant.
Yo, what the fuck?
You know what I meant.
He did what in a courtroom?
Oh my gosh! But you know what I mean. He revealed his identity in the courtroom.
He showed everyone his Daredevil.
Yeah, he showed everyone his screaming stick.
He showed everyone his little Murdock.
Oh my gosh! But yeah. So we're finally gonna be getting the Daredevil in prison arc. They could either go both ways. They could either go portray it the way Zdarsky did it, or they could portray it the way that Brubaker did it.
I think they're going Brubaker just based on the fact that he doesn't have the mask.
Yeah.
I think given that he doesn't have the mask and Kingpin's not in charge anymore means that it's definitely going to be more Brubaker than Daredevil.
Mm-hmm. And we will see him, I assume, build alliances, obviously, because the Anti-Vigilante Task Force, the ones that remained with Kingpin after the ones that stick with him, not the ones that had to leave and quit like right on the spot when shit hit the fan. But he's gonna be making alliances inside, especially with Cole North, because Cole North did have a chain, so like maybe they might actually make him the Cole North that he's supposed to be. But so that's one thing I was like, okay, they gave Cole North an actual character shift that was caused by Daredevil's influence that may show him may have him as be an ally in season 3 while they're all in prison together. So but yeah, man, is it with Brubaker's arc? I don't think I've read Brubaker's arc. I may have read or watched stuff about it, but I haven't actually read it entirely because I didn't have the back issues at the time. But remind me, how was he able to make sure that his identity was kept? How did he make people forget that he was Daredevil after this? You remember?
I know, honestly, like fucking no. I got no idea.
Yeah, how did he get out of this situation of being in prison? I don't know. I may have to find a way to go back into reading.
Revisit the Brubaker. Yeah, well, read Comic Online's cooked, so you can't go back that easily.
Listen, bro, like we don't gotta talk about that right now. We had plenty of channels talk about that shit. Yeah, man. So either way, I mean, I feel like aesthetically it'll be like Zdarsky, but yeah, you could also be right. Like for the storyline, it could be like the way they did Brubaker. Question though, I just thought about just now. Do you think they'll maybe find a way? Would it be kind of wild if we kind of got Michael Murdock in this somehow?
That'd be if they did, dude. If they did Mike, yeah. Oh my god, I would be blown away if they did Mike.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't say he's like, you know, like a magical construct or whatever, but like as a way for I don't know how they do it, but if they would incorporate Mike into this somehow, I would cry. I would
boy Mike.
Mike Murdock, bro. Yeah, man. So we'll see how this goes, and obviously, I mean, we have eyes. With him being in prison, may indicate the fact that, you know, because Spider-Man Brand New Day, there is a prison scene with the Hand. I'm kind of convinced at this point that Daredevil will show up in Brand New Day, just because of the nature of the settings and all that stuff. But yeah, man. So that's something to look forward to. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
I'm good.
All right, we'll move on to the next theory here. So now Bullseye, the assassin. So now Bullseye, after, so that the end of in the finale, they kind of showed that they teased that now that Luke is now not working for Mr. Charles anymore, being used as an asset for the federal government. He found a replacement, which was Dex, Bullseye. So now we're going to be seeing, I would hope to assume that now we're going to be seeing more of now Bullseye taking more of like the assassin role. Like, we've seen him as a psychotic killer and used as a psychotic weapon, but now we're going to see him be a psychotic weapon for the government. Wow, that's not going to go wrong. Again, now, and it's kind of nice that, like, we see him with the headphones, kind of as a nod to the tape recordings from his therapist in Daredevil season 3 about finding his North Star. Now, yeah. Mr. Charles is his new North Star. Yeah. So what do you think of this, bro? What do you think of this setup?
This is what I was talking about earlier. Where, like, Mr. Charles is there for a setup that we, like, are never gonna see for a while. You know what I mean? And, like, this is a part of it where, I don't know, why take Bullseye out of the show when he's cooking right now? Like, why where is he gonna go that I'm gonna see him more imminently than the next season of Daredevil? Like, why would you do this? I don't understand why you take him out of the show to have him do something else. You know?
Well, why does Bullseye do most of the things he does? He just does shit. You know.
Okay, but that sucks because I'd rather watch him do shit next year than watch him do shit in a fucking, like, Dark Avengers movie in 2030.
Oh no, I meant just as a character. It just like, why would he not do this if he thought it would be fun? You know, like, but like I'm in terms of.
Yeah, like, I get why you do it, but like, fuck off, dude. I want to fucking see Bullseye next year.
In terms of actually seeing him in something, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be shocked if they don't bring him back next season. Like, why would they not bring him back next season? You know? He's
obviously on a plane fucking flying to, like, fucking gonna be in the Dark Avengers or something. I don't know.
No, he's not. Fucking, like, it was pissing me off when we were watching it with Deck and things. They're going to promote the Thunderbolts. Stop saying that. They're not the Thunderbolts. And two, no, like, they don't have, like, Matthew Lillard's character doesn't control the Thunderbolts. That's not, you watch the movie. Like, you know that's not how that works. But yeah, man, I think it's an interesting arc. I mean, and also because he's working for the government, I would assume he's actually going to get an actual costume this time. So we'll see.
Hopefully.
It just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense with the story. Like, yeah, like, if he's going to work for the government, he's going to get, like, an actual legit tactical suit that looks like the costume from the comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's all I got to say on it. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I wonder if he'll change now that he has his North Star. Now he's actually, you know, I guess in a way is gonna maybe find structure by working with Mr. Charles. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Who knows, man? I don't know if this is his North Star. He might just be like, yeah. I think it'd be funny if if his arc was like him going, yeah, he's my North Star, and then, like, by the end of the season, he's like, he's not my North Star. I don't give a fuck about this dude. I was just trying to see if it fit, and I thought believing it hard enough would make it happen. But this guy, I actually hate this guy. You know what I mean? I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic, the next theory here. But obviously, we kind of teased it a little bit. Heather Glenn becoming Muse. Obviously, we've seen now just with this ending, we already saw set photos of a female Muse already, so we know what's happening. Again, it's again weird, but I'm curious where it's gonna go. And I know the female Muse was they brought up a female Muse. A female Muse debuted in the Daredevil Unleashed Hell Unlimited series that I didn't get a chance to read. So, but I understand it's not Heather, it's a different character, and the way they did it was she was an artist that was haunted and possessed by Muse in a way, like it was like Muse's ghost enabled her to become his successor, like by driving her crazy and shit. So that's the thing with me. It's like I think I talked about this also in when we watched it together. Like, how are they gonna do this? Because again, Muse is an artist, is a serial killer artist. That is his thing. So like, it's like, is Heather Glenn just gonna like murder people willy nilly? Is she gonna have the same MMO? Like, is she just gonna like manifest art skills all of a sudden? Like, will she just like randomly manifest how to freaking like draw as much blood out of a human being to use as paint? Like, what are they gonna do with this? Like, how make this make sense for me to make her being Muse. Like practically being Muse makes sense because Muse has a skill set. Muse has an M on how he kills people. Like I'm curious to be like, where are they gonna go with this?
Yeah. It's weird. I don't really know where it's going. Who knows where it will end up? Probably with Daredevil punching her in the head or something.
Maybe. Yeah. I thought it was I thought this shot was very cool. And very cool when it comes to her arc to like finalize her arc for the season, but also creepy the fact that when she puts the Muse mask on, that's when she feels more herself. That's why her reflection is smiling back at her when she puts the Muse mask on. I think that's very interesting. But that's all I gotta say. I'm just like, okay, we'll see where that goes from here. I think it'd be kind of wild though if they do like, Muse is possessing her is manipulating her from beyond the grave. That's why she's actually seeing him. She's not crazy. She's seeing his ghost. Like that'd be kind of like stupid, but I would kind of love it. Not gonna lie. All right. Anything else you want to say on this shit before we move on? Not nada.
No, I'm good.
All right, bro. Let's see. We got like a few more. This is like third to last, but the Defenders coming back next season. I mean, we're obviously excited. We're obviously back. We're back, people. To quote Anthony Mackie. Great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys back together again. I don't know what their role is in this season. Well, I have an idea. We'll go into that to my next theory. To my next theory, what them all coming back is gonna lead to in terms of the plot, in terms of the story. But again, I'm just happy that now that Jessica come back, now we're gonna be seeing our boys Danny and Luke come back and do their thing all together. But see, man, that's a little reunion, bro. I'm excited. And the thing is, like, I don't know if they'll do this, but like, I would assume because we're gonna be seeing Danny and Luke come back, we're gonna get like a little bit of instances and hints of where they've been, what they've been up to since we last saw them. Because last time we saw them, both of their shows ended on some of the best cliffhangers and setups that during the Netflix Defenders era, where Luke became the owner of Harlem's Paradise and became essentially the new Cottonmouth, and Danny going into Hong Kong to find Orson Randall and wielding dual Iron Fist pistols. So I mean, I hope we get a little. I don't know how to explain her, but I hope we get some hints of where they've been since we've last seen them. But also, even though it would be a little overstuffed, I would like to see Colleen and Misty in here too, just because I want to see at least get like a little cameo of them. Like a little brief cameo to see like, this is where they're at as well. Hopefully, Daughters of the Dragon is set up because I would love that. Like, I would genuinely cry because again, last time we saw Misty, she was in Iron Season 2 talking about maybe doing a thing together with Colleen, and getting an arm upgrade. And also, last time we saw Colleen was in Iron Season 2 where she became an Iron Fist herself after Danny gave up his powers for her. So I hope that all that stuff is still relevant.
I hope they keep some stuff in and let some stuff sit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always like when they do that kind of approach, because then it's like you're allowed to be free with doing the characters and maybe cut some of the stuff people didn't like out, while also still being like, you can still watch the Netflix shows like they happen and not be completely divorced from,
Yeah. Don't bring Trish back though. Let her ass rot in prison. Her arc is
yeah. I agree.
Good. I would love if you would get a cameo from like Misty and Colleen, I would love to see in terms of Jessica Jones. I would love to see a cameo from Hogarth, from Carrie Ann Moss. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Anything else you want to say just real quick?
No, I'm excited for the next season, given that this is what they're doing with it. Because the Defender's coming back. Oh, it's gonna be so nice.
It's gonna be so nice. Like it's the last time we saw them was when 2018. Like
yeah,
it's been a long time. So like
almost a decade.
Almost a decade. So it's gonna be a big thing for us who's been rocking these characters for so long, man. I might cry. Like I might actually like cry, bro. Well, and we saw Luke Cage in his fucking David Walker, Chuck Brown, like Power Man Iron Fist suit looking, like like during that run. And I don't know what day he's gonna be rocking, but I would love to have him have his full costume. I remember in season 2 they said that the sub for season 3 that like Danny's costume was essentially going to be a version of like Orson Randall's costume. So
yeah,
will he be rocking that? Will it be something different? Who knows? Jess is just Jess. She's wearing the same fit all the time. So there's nothing to worry about that. All right, bro. I think we'll just move on to that. We're pretty much sold on to Defenders coming back. We're fucking ready.
Yeah, they don't need to sell us.
Yeah, we're good, bro. So now after that, the two big. We'll finish this off with two big questions, right? So now that Kingpin is now exiled from the country, he's on a beach somewhere, somewhere out there in the Marvel universe, on Earth. So now that the Kingpin of crime is gone, there's gonna be a power vacuum. So the question is, who will replace Kingpin? Who's gonna be the next Kingpin? Essentially, I don't know what your theories are. Even though, Vincent D'Onofrio possibly is gonna come back, or just make an appearance, but still, someone has to play that role of like who's going to be. I think
the smartest thing to do would be to, introduce the Stromwyns and have them put Kingpin's re-election campaign up. As like they fund it, they protect him from the government because they're stronger than the state. You know what I mean? So the governor can't fuck with him, and then just write them in as being in league with Allegra de Fontaine, and then they can't. You know what I mean? So they have the backing of Fontaine, they have the backing of the Stromwyns. So Kingpin is just like basically thrust back into being mayor.
Yeah,
power system, you know what I mean?
He's gonna be thrust back into being mayor, kind of as not on his own accord, but as someone useful for the Stromwyns who are more powerful than he's ever been. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, literally.
But I'm saying in terms of like crime now, like who do you think will? Like for me personally, I would want to break from Kingpin. I would prefer him not to come back. Probably come back in like the following season. But obviously I would love to make an appearance, of course. But who would think who's gonna take the place to run the criminal element of New York now that he's gone? I mean, they could do. I don't
think they're gonna have any single person. I think they're probably more likely going to be having people who, like it's gonna be like you know what I mean, groups of gangs, and you're gonna get cameos from like smaller.
The Nuges can make an appearance here.
Dog, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my gosh, but I think it'd be kind of funny if they introduced Butch Ferris, but I doubt they'd do that. But then if you have to do Butch Ferris, if you introduce Butch, you have to introduce Michael Murdock. They come in a pair.
I would kill you. I would find you specifically, and I would kill you because I'd be
man. Okay, do you think? How do you feel about this? Because I remember this character was supposed to be the villain for Daredevil season 4, stemming from Iron Fist. Do you think it would be a good idea to introduce Typhoid Mary next season as like an antagonist with Alice Eve coming back? I would want that. For
I
sure.
would like that. I would definitely be there for that. It would definitely be. I would be locked in for it. And
as someone who like kind of takes Kingpin's place and is a threat because she has abilities. She's unhinged. She's mysterious. Obviously it's going to be interesting to see now Walker, now Typhoid Mary dealing with, battling with themselves, with herself, dealing with, the Typhoid Mary, the Walker, and the Mary personality at odds with each other. That would be really interesting. And also that would give Kingpin, if Kingpin does come back and he says, oh my gosh, look at this strong woman who's who takes power of enemies.
Yeah, and Kingpin's like, ooh.
He gets smitten a little bit, and that sets up the stuff that the Darsky did with Kingpin and Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, that would be
I'm
nice.
just saying that'd be dope. I think that'd be a good choice. Because I don't know who else would do it other than that. I also would say as well, a character that I feel like needs to come back next season. We gotta see Gladiator come back next season, because it's been a minute since we've seen him.
You're asking for Gladiator?
Yeah, I want to see him. Yep, I want to see him as Gladiator. I would love that. I just miss him, man. I miss him. He was such a good part, a really like good part of the Netflix series.
That's funny though. Like you're like, yeah, give me Gladiator right now.
Yeah, have him because he got arrested. He got arrested in season 3 due to mass action. So like, have him come back for revenge. Fucking not as a main antagonist, of course, but as a side antagonist. You know what I mean, yeah. Besides that, I don't know who else I would want. Like mostly my pick, even though it's possibly going to be Kingpin, but like I want Typhoid Mary. Do Typhoid Mary. Like continue finish where you fucking started. You know. But yeah, anything else you want to say? Any theories you got for like any Kingpin like replacement stuff, or who you think could, you know?
No,
I don't know who. I don't know. It's the Hood. The Hood's the new Kingpin.
Dude, if it was the Hood, you know what I'd stand on that.
I know. Yeah, I got nothing else to say on that. I think we're pretty much square on that. All right, so now the final question. The ultimate question. Now that Daredevil's in prison, and obviously Matt will get out. We know that much. Yeah. But now we're talking about, okay, with Kingpin being gone, there's going to be a power vacuum in New York. With the Devil's Health Kitchen being gone, you know, now who's gonna be like the protector? Obviously, the Defenders are coming back, which are dope. Obviously, you have, you know, White Tiger, you know, Angela now coming into. Now is gonna be, I guess, gonna be more. I'm assuming more comfortable in the role as I'm taking up the mantle of White Tiger. But who's gonna be that figure? Who's gonna essentially be Daredevil's replacement while he's in prison? And I have 2 ideas, and you know where I'm gonna go with this, right? First one, now that Danny's coming back, do you think it's possible, as an option, they may go the route where Danny becomes a temporary Daredevil until Matt comes back? I'm not in the Civil War. What do you think? They can do it because he's coming back. So
yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it totally could. Totally could.
Yeah.
I think it would be cooler though if it was Elektra.
I'm getting that. That's called setup. It's called setup, Seamus. We're getting there. But like, you know,
well,
yeah.
Don't ask me this shit. Just go straight for the one that you knew I'd fucking.
Like, could you see this happen? Like, as an option. Like, I think even if they don't do Elektra, I think this could still be fun. You know, whatever. Just saying, I think it'd be cool. But obviously the big one is like what Seamus, you know, clearly didn't, you know, get the setup for it. But obviously will it maybe be the return of Elektra coming back and taking up the mantle of Daredevil. Cause I think I kind of told you my pitch. I would love if, because of the power vacuum in terms of the criminal element of New York, with Kingpin being gone, obviously things are running amok. Obviously, like, I guess though, even though we're not mentioning the Punisher, well, that's good, but like the Nucci's are an example of New York Hell's Kitchen acting awry because of the lack of order in the criminal world. I would love an imposter Daredevil to come through, even if it was Iron Fist. But if an imposter Daredevil showed up, and it'd be a mystery.
That's how we get Mike.
That's how we get Mike. The end goal is to get Mike Murdock. But have a mystery individual come take up the mantle of Daredevil on their own accord, and they're taking down bad guys. They're being effective, and it's up to kind of like Luke, Danny, and Jessica to figure out who this Daredevil is. They're going to be in charge to figure out who this mysterious Daredevil is, and it would be amazing if the reveal would be Elektra back from the dead. with a new mindset to take on, with a now more heroic mindset and becoming, taking up the mantle of Daredevil. Like this would be her own rebirth, her own born again moment for her own arc. After last time we saw her in Defenders, because last time we saw her in Defenders, she was she was the Black Sky of the Hand and became evil, and her story ended with her getting a building, drop on top of her. Which is funny. That's why I refuse to accept that she's dead, because if Matt can survive that shit, she can survive that shit.
Exactly. She's probably
so,
fine.
So what do you think of this idea? Maybe potentially Elektra. Now they're doing the full Zdarsky tip, where like Elektra will come back and take on the mantle of Daredevil. But obviously, I would want it to be.
I'd enjoy that more.
Yeah. I would love it to be more of a mystery. That's why the Defenders are coming in. But I think, and plus, like, again, love Elodie Young. I think she's fantastic as the role in the role of Elektra Nachos. I miss her. I want to see her back. Like. That's when the show was announced, when Born Again was coming back, and they changed the production team. She's been on my list of characters that I'm like, she has to come back, because it's just like she just has to. Her and Matt are one piece in the pot. They're one and the same. Like there's not one without the other. Even though we love Karen, but it is what it is, bro. And just to see. We'll just see where Elektra's arc has gone since season 2 of Daredevil, Defenders. It would be a great change of pace and a great way to give herself more of a redemption arc after her action in the Defenders, to her becoming Daredevil and trying to be a force for good. Bless you.
Yeah.
So yeah, people, what do you think? I mean, you think you want Elektra in that joint? You want Danny in that joint? What do you think? Where do y'all think you can go in terms of next season? But obviously Daredevil, Matt's gonna come back as Daredevil like towards like, I guess, the second half of the season. But for the first like 3 episodes, I want it to be the mystery, like who is this new Daredevil? Who's this copycat? You know what I mean? Hell, do a bunch of copycats next season. I would love that.
Do Mike and Elektra, and Elektra tries to kiss Mike, and Mike's into it, and then she finds out he's Mike and not Matt, and then she freaks out. And Mike's like, "Oh, I thought you knew I was Mike. I thought Matt told everyone that I existed."
The thing is, think about it. Seeing like the resistance of like civilians taking on like the Daredevil mantle, wearing their own fake masks, stuff like that. Do it kind of like with the Dark Knight. Like have Matt's sacrifice by him going to jail, him stopping Kingpin, this power vacuum surfacing, them like starting multiple copycats trying to be Daredevil, and that'd be really cool to make it more mysterious. I mean, that's what I'd say. I think that'd be a great idea. Will they do it? Probably not, but we'll see. Because I know it is. I understand it is filming right now. I believe
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, bro. Top it off, bro. Final thoughts and verdict. What are your thoughts on Daredevil Born Again season 2, and what would you give it out of 10?
Probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It was very good. I loved it a lot. Just great television. I'm very glad this hit as well as it did, because I needed that shit. Those weeks of watching that and Invincible in the same week, I was just like in heaven.
It's a wrap.
I'm excited that it's now a yearly thing where I'll be getting Daredevil and Invincible at the same time.
Yeah.
Rest in piss, the boys. Yeah, watch Daredevil. It was great.
Yeah, man. I'm the same boy. I'm gonna give it like a 9. Like this is a 9. I want to give it a 9.5, but like I don't know. I gotta pull back a little and give it a 9. It's damn near it's damn near perfect for me, in my opinion. Like literally, we're back. We're fucking back. Like that's most of we're fucking back. Like I'm so happy. Like that how the turnout how it's turned out so far. That the new creative team, even though we got a tease of what they did in Born season 1, what they're capable of, they went full stop and showed us they can fucking make great television. They understand this character, and they understand that they know what we want as a fan base of this character that loves it. That has a strong connection to.
And what we want is good fucking TV. We want solid, written character arcs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's good shit. I'm excited to see what they're going next. Yeah, they're in the middle of filming right now, so we'll see where it goes. Yeah, we're gonna get it next year. I love that too. Like they're filming consecutively, so like it's just like we're not gonna be able to wait too long for it. Know what I mean? All right, yeah. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. So overall, people, this gives it's pretty much a solid 9. So like, it's not the solid 9 is all around. So drop a clues bomb for Daredevil Season 2. Amazing. And yeah, looking forward to seeing more. But yeah, people, that is pretty much it. So thanks everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment on the video. Leave a comment on this video. Let us know what you think of Daredevil and Punisher. What are your thoughts on both? What you like, what you dislike, want to see it in the comments down below. Also, please hit the notification bell so you know when we drop new content. Dropped a bunch of shorts recently involving our original podcast. I'm gonna try to be doing more shorts more often, even though I don't fucking like editing, but it is what it is. But yeah, people, listen, we're trying to get back into streaming things. Obviously, life has lifed and things came up, but we're trying to get back into the groove. I'm gonna try again. And please, if you haven't already, if you haven't checked out, Why the Last Man, please check it out. We're gonna get back onto that shit. Be patient with me, Seamus. We will. We promise. Deadly Clash, Transformers, the reactions, the highlights, the interviews, the any corner off panel. Check out all that stuff. Put a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to what we do. So really appreciate it. Just be on the lookout. We're gonna be doing a review of a show that Seamus doesn't want to do. We're not gonna reveal what that is yet, but it's gonna happen. And also possibly Mortal Kombat if we have time. But I'm also want to get some interviews done as well. I got to talk to some people about some potential interviews.
Did you see Mortal Kombat yet? I forgot.
Not yet. No, I'm possibly seeing maybe next week. We'll see. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, we got some stuff in the works. We're cooking slowly. But as always, people, get home safe. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. We'll see y'all next time. All right. Peace.
Peace.